Welcome back to another Conductor Sunday live stream. I'm joined by the one, the only, Mr. George, the Disney Italiano from Hollow Gelato. Just spent a week with this guy. I don't think I could shake this guy. Me and him are just like one. I don't understand it. But
We are more than we are one.
Oh dear God, here we go. See what I mean? That's what I have to listen to all week when I'm with him. But believe me, I enjoy it. I might not seem like I enjoy it, but believe me, I do. But I want to welcome everybody into this wonderful Sunday. A lot of topics we got to talk about. One of the first main topics we're going to get into is Hollow Gelato's interesting night at Star Wars night. But before we get to that, well, there's the sound effect right there. Before we get into that, George, first of all, how you doing today? And where can everyone find you on social media?
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you in like God forever, but but in any case, doing great. So glad to be on Conductor Live Sunday. And I'm ready to dive into these topics because as Giant Peter Adventure says, I feel a heat of spiciness. Oh, there's going to be some spiciness into this conversation tonight, folks. So keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times because this is going to be the wildest ride in the wilderness.
100%. And before we go any farther, John Make It Rain, always great to see him. He said, can I get some prayers? I have a family member that broke her hip, and is now in hospice housing with ALS. I am so very sorry, John Make It Rain. My heart and prayers goes out to you and your family. Hopefully, your family member makes a speedy recovery because I can't imagine what you and your family are going through this difficult time. But I do want to thank you for taking some time out to join us on Conductor Sunday live stream.
Absolutely, John. Yeah, it's great to see you as always to join, and definitely prayers going out to your way for your family member for a quick recovery, and also prayers for the ALS because that's definitely a challenge. But I do believe that everyone that fights can have a good sparring chance. So we'll put that positive energy out there as well.
100%. We got Spring Blossom Fairy. Hey, Conductor. God, that was weird, but okay. Hey, I went for it.
You did.
I did. Giant Peter says, heck, knowing George, he probably shops at Conductor's Costco just to see. You know what?
There'll probably be a day. There'll probably be a day.
Yeah. I'll probably show up at work one morning thinking everything's normal. All of a sudden, the doors open. I see George. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Security. Jeez Louises. And we got the one, the only Mrs. Mademoiselle in the house. Just saw her the other day. Always great to see her hanging out in the parks. George, so let's get into it because this is going to be a semi-lengthy topic. Let me see if I can. I'm not playing the audio, folks, because of copyrights, so we don't have to worry about hearing the audio. But George, this is from laughingplace.com.
Mm-hmm. And the reason why, folks, that we are showcasing laughingplace.com, not only do they put out great material, shout out to Laughing Place, but the reason why we're not showcasing my own, because I barely got anything. So, yeah, we'll get into that for sure.
But if you want to let everybody know, because I don't want to take suck the energy out of your night and your experiences, but what can you let everybody know about Star Wars night? Because the reason why I bring this up, not just because you told me about it, because I was hanging out with you for a week at Disneyland, it was more of there's been this ongoing conversation on YouTube, on social media, that Disney After Dark events have really kind of just went stale. Now, granted, the Disney Channel night, from what I've heard from you, was an absolute success. But
Mhm.
going from that to this, what can you let everybody know? What was the high and low points of the night?
So, kind of starting off just with the Disney after hour events in general, I feel like they are a very up and down, hit or miss roller coaster ride. Um, Sweethearts Night, positive. That 70th one, not so much. Then it went back up with Disney Channel Night. Now, with Star Wars Night, this would be my 4th consecutive year doing Star Wars Night.
Okay.
When Abby and I did it last year, despite that there were things missing than what they have this year, it was better. It was very successful. This year, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the night that things were going on, if they oversold tickets, but it was crazy. There was not really a point of saying that we had a great time with this, because honestly we didn't. We had good moments, but the night collectively was not, unfortunately.
Wow.
And the tickets for this event was the priciest out of all the events that Disneyland offered this year. It was $174 per ticket.
Okay.
So it cost me and Abby $348 to do this event. And was it worth it? Hell to the no. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just calling it out like it is. I do know our good mutual friend Tommy Toon, shout out to him, actually went 2 nights before I did, and he actually seemed like he had a great, successful night, which I'm glad, because I don't think Tommy did Star Wars Night before. But for us, it was completely unsuccessful. Like right out the bat, Abby, Mademoiselle, and myself went to go see the Ewoks, because they're I think, one of the most popular character meet and greets. The lines could get pretty hefty. When we got in line, they said we can take up to 3 photos per party.
Sure.
But not with our own phones. It had to be professionally through the photo pass.
Uh-huh.
Then they had 2 Ewoks come out. They were interacting with the guests and everything. By the time we got up to the front, they changed. They said it was going to be 3 photos. Now it's down to 2. And again, it can't be with your own phone. It had to be with photo pass. Okay, fine. What have you. Then when we get up there, I couldn't even turn my camera on fast enough to even get some footage for the vlog. And they're like, okay, hurry up, just put your stuff here, go stand next to the Ewok, click, click, boom, it was done. We had no interaction, only 1 Ewok was out, and it was a joke, really. And then actually our professional photos actually had people in the background. It was like, and that's just me being a little bit nitpicky. I mean, you could always Photoshop that. That's fine. But so then after we got out of the line, I thought, well, I didn't get no footage. So I'll stand back and I'll try to get some of the footage, because right after we were out of line, lo and behold, the second Ewok comes out.
Oh, of course.
So I'm standing there, and then the next person was going for the photo, and he passed by my camera, and he said, "Oh, so very sorry." Like, he apologized for passing by, and I was like, "Oh, you're fine." The cast member that was dealing with it said, "Oh, no, don't apologize. Your priority. They're going to have to deal with it."
Jeez.
And I just turned my head, and I wanted to say, "Bitch, excuse me?" Like, where was our priority?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she said it out loud, and she said it like almost right to our face.
Oh, wow.
And that does not fly with me. So, so now, of course, I didn't actually say that out loud. I said that in my head.
Sure.
Because I wasn't, about to, but I'm just like, what in the world? So the night kind of started off, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let that ruin my night. That was a disappointment. That took about an hour for us to get through. Wow. Now, Disney events are only 4 hours. So we were now down to 3. Crazy. So then we decided to go over to spot C-3PO. And he's over at Galaxy's Edge. where actually the Bantha attraction was supposed to be. And they
Yeah.
have it blocked off with the gate and everything. And everyone's lined up along the gate, assuming that he was going to walk down and greet each person. So when he came out, no, he was just in one spot. So while he was standing in one spot, more people from behind were coming in. And I'm like, okay, we got to move ourselves in because we're not going to be able to see him. Me and Mademoiselle were able to get some interaction with him. I did get that footage. And it hasn't been released yet, but it will be coming out soon. So that was kind of cool. And then Abby came, she got some footage as well. And then that was that. And we thought, okay, that's cool. And then we got to the food. I ended up getting the pork sandwich, which I ended up getting last year.
Wow.
It was okay, but not as good as what it was last year. Then
Sure.
Abby ended up getting the funnel cake fries. She liked it a little more than I did because it had chocolate ice cream. I'm not a huge chocolate eater, so it was like, okay. So the food was all right. It wasn't anything spectacular. And then I'm trying to remember. Then we left the food.
Uh-huh.
And then we went back into Galaxy's Edge for Darth Vader. Now that was really cool to see him come out at night.
Yeah.
Because he only comes out like till 5 p.m. I think during the day. So it was really cool to see him and the stormtroopers at night. And then like how he walked through the corridor and did his rounds in the locations. Sure. He didn't do that. He stayed put. He came off the stage, but he stayed right in front of the stage. So we had a full 30 minutes of interaction with him. Wow. And that was really cool. I think was the highlight of the night for me. Sure. And then after that, we were heading to the Jawas. And before that, while we were seeing Vader, we missed the last Imperial March because it was going on the same time that Vader was coming out. Leia and Han came out the same time Vader came out.
Wow.
And the last Imperial March ended an hour and 15 minutes before the event was even over.
Crazy.
So they could have had plenty of time to do another.
100%. Before you continue, though, George, I wanted to give a big shout out to Mademoiselle for the $4.99 super chat. She said, I didn't get my photo shoot with the Ewoks. I wanted a prom pose, hugging heart hands, etc. Instead, we got seconds like you get when taking a DMV ID. You know what? It's funny because I actually told her I kind of felt like it was the same thing for the After Dark event for the Disneyland 70th, where we couldn't even really get an actual photo with Ma and Pa from oh my god,
from Carousel of Progress.
Yeah, Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
It was more like a walk and shoot.
Yeah.
You couldn't even stand in front of him and take a picture. It was that ridiculous. So I get the frustration with that, especially when you're paying that type of money for an After Dark event. That was very, very bad. And then she also says, all jokes aside, we were rushed through the Ewoks, the Jawas, line closed. All the experiences were just too long. Vader experience saved the evening, but that's available during regular park hours. But continue. Go ahead.
And as Mademoiselle said, so when we went to go to get our pictures with the Jawas, they closed the line and the night wasn't even up. And the line wasn't even that long. Last year, Abby and I got in 5 minutes before the event ended.
Jesus.
And I'm like, why are they closing all the lines down? And by that time, I was over it. I was pissed. I was done. I was ready to go to City Hall and ask them, I want my money back. $348 for what? I have no idea.
Jeez.
So then when we get to Main Street, here is the big cherry on top of the whole night. They're playing freaking Justin Bieber music and Bad Bunny. And I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with Star Wars?
Wow.
Like, it had nothing. Like, they're playing and nothing against those artists, but it's like, you don't play that during a Star Wars event. And
No.
then we get down to Main Street for like the final farewell, and they had Mickey and Minnie standing on the steps, and that was kind of cool because Mickey had like a sporting outfit that was the colors of R2D2,
Sure.
and Minnie had BB-8. So
Wow.
I thought that was really cool. But they're dancing to like what did Mademoiselle say? Like cumbia music and
Oh,
salsa dancing and gyrating their hips, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, this is not Star Wars, and I'm
yes,
like, and it's crazy. And even there were moments where Mickey and Minnie were standing there because they didn't know what to do themselves.
wow.
So,
Okay, so let me ask you this. For anybody, okay, this might get controversial, but for anybody that's never been to the event, never, first time going, would you recommend it at least once, or would you not even say that?
I can't believe that I'm actually saying this to not know. If they would have had any experience that we did or lack thereof, you're wasting your money, especially for $174.
Wow.
Honestly, you can get a better experience of Galaxy's Edge during the day, like we did, where the characters are roaming around, like Leia, Han, Chewbacca, Vader comes out multiple times. You have Mando coming out. You have R2 coming out. You have Ahsoka coming out. I just feel like honestly, you can get your bang for your buck just by going in a regular park day than the after hours event.
No, 100%, and that's something that again is concerning because when you look when you do a comparison, and I don't like to do comparisons too much because between Universal and Disney, it's kind of hard to do so. But in this case, it's actually easier to do so. When you got after dark events with Disney, and then you got after dark events with Universal. Wow. If you had to look at the bigger picture from the outside in, and I don't mean to put you in a tough spot, but would you recommend for someone that's never done after dark events, period, between Universal and Disney, and that has a general thought process like they're open for anything and experience anything at the parks, would you recommend Disney or would you recommend Universal?
When it comes to the after hours events, and I know that I said that Sweethearts Night was a success, Disney Channel Night was phenomenal. I'll even say to the fact of, despite that I wasn't able to meet Darkwing Duck, I still think even 90s Night was great.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's a roulette with Disney with the after hours. Yeah. I can say, oh, this after hours event is phenomenal, but then it can go night by night where someone can go and they say, what are you talking about? There's no consistency with the Disney after hours events. Unfortunately, I wish and hope at time Disney will be able to fix that. With Universal, yes, there was operation errors that happened on the first night of FanFest because that's when we went. Sure. But I feel like there's a lot more to offer and you're able to experience them. Yeah. Like I checked more boxes off with FanFest than I did Star Wars Night.
And that's interesting because you know when you look at Star Wars Night, perfect segue is when you look at it, like you mentioned, the Darth Vader thing or the Darth Vader experience, you have that happening, and then at a different section of the park, which is at Tomorrowland, which perfectly for me, no Star Wars stuff should be ever happening in Tomorrowland when you have a billion plus land based off the IP. There's no reason why Tomorrowland needs to have any of that. But operationally, they have stuff in Tomorrowland.
Okay, but you actually had a great idea when we were talking about this of what Disney can do to benefit for Star Wars Night. And I'll let you elaborate on that because I think actually that's genius because it actually kind of falls into the fact of what you were talking about. Because when we went, we didn't even make it over to Tomorrowland.
No, we didn't.
By the time we were about to go over, the night was up.
Wow.
I don't know where the 4 hours went, but it was crazy. But I'll let you
Sure.
kind of explain your idea of what you would do.
No, 100%. And Spring Blossom says, what about Jar Jar Binks? He's a Star Wars. He would be cool to see. Okay, but like you're mentioning, since Disney likes making money. Let's just be honest. Any company likes making money. But in this case, in this topic, Disney likes making money, right? So I said,
I like making money, and I'm not even a company.
Hey, there you go. I like making money. Everyone likes making money. Bring out the money guns. Start shooting the hundreds out of the money guns. I said to you, I said, what if they move all the Star Wars activities, like literally all the Star Wars activities in the Galaxy's Edge? Okay. So they could still have the After Dark event. But if you have the After Dark event, and this video is by Coda Bear the Explorer, so there's another vlogger that was there opening night, so big shout out to him. I said, well, you could still have the After Dark event, and you could still have the credentials, all that stuff, but everything would be in Galaxy's Edge. And then you could still have Disneyland open for everyday park guests, but unless you have the credentials, you can't get in the Galaxy's Edge because Galaxy's Edge is closed for the night for the After Dark event. And I said that would be a great segue. So instead of limiting the capacity to, let's say, and again, it's not an accurate number, it's just being hypothetical. Let's say, I don't know, 5,000 people for the After Dark event. Let's just say that. They could have 15 to 20,000 people at Disneyland and making that much more money, not just with food, with merch, but also rides, all that stuff. And I kind of feel that would be a great way to kind of have two things on one idea. You know what I mean? So that way people that are from out of town can experience Disneyland at night and won't be shut out because of an After Dark event like Star Wars Night. And this is the problem I see with Tomorrowland hosting stuff that's Star Wars related for Star Wars Night. Again, you have $1 billion+ land based off the IP, but yet we're having Star Wars activities between two different lands. We're having it all around the park. Like Hollow Gelato mentioned, you had Mickey and Minnie on the train station dancing the God knows what between Justin Bieber Baby, and you had Bad Bunny and his song. It's like, that didn't even make sense. Nothing to do with Star Wars at all. So that's one of my main ideas they could do going forward. Because the problem is DCA does stay open, as far as I know, later on those Star Wars nights and any After Dark event, but Star Wars in general. But the problem is DCA can't handle that capacity because they don't have that many attractions.
Can I ask you this?
Sure.
Now that you kind of actually mentioned that, I'm probably going to open up a whole Pandora's box with this, but
oh boy,
do you think, and I know at the time, you know, they're getting back on track with Galaxy's Edge, and at least for Disneyland, it's a nice segue moving from Frontierland with the rock work and everything. Sure. But do you really think, out of all the lands that kind of make up Disneyland Park, do you think that Galaxy's Edge still fits in the realm of Disneyland? Do you think that it actually could have benefited? And again, I know people are going to say, but it doesn't fit the California theme. Well, guess what, folks? They're putting in Pandora. So the California theme is basically out of cahoots anyway. Yeah. So getting to my point, do you think that Star Wars could have benefited part as Disneyland Forward? And I know that's eons away right now like when it comes to like putting it in the symbol lot and what have you. But do you think that that would have been a better route?
I think Galaxy's Edge was a great land to build when they built it and opened it. The problem that Galaxy's Edge suffered from was they based it off a starport that was in the timeline somewhere. And a lot of fans, not all, but most fans wanted original trilogy. But the problem is when you do something like that, and there's so many different timelines with an IP, meaning Star Wars in general, and you have one timeline you're going to focus on, it kind of suffocates the land. And that's what we saw with the prequel series.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me. Okay, so I'll put it in this way, and
Okay.
be honest.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
just tell me like what you think. Take
Sure.
the timeline out, and take Disneyland Forward out, just as a generalized question. Do you think Star Wars is better at Disneyland Park or DCA?
I think Disneyland Park.
Okay.
Not just because the land exists already, but I think it was a great park or a great land to have in this park. But just fictionally,
Of how they started it, that was what.
yeah, and they're trying to make up for their mistakes, and a lot of the Star Wars fan community has just said, you know what, you made your mistake, you ruined it for me. I'm not coming back. The hell with you. And they've already made their mind up. Now, I do have to say, though, as we're watching on the screen right now, this was day one. There's Tommy Toon in front of me, but having Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers walk around was literally incredible. That was fantastic. He is the godfather when it comes to Disney villains. I love Darth Vader. Like, I will go down swinging. Darth Vader is my favorite, hands down.
I think honestly, he is the greatest villain of
Oh,
any content of film, of cinema,
oh
of
God.
series. Like, he
Yeah.
is the goat.
Yeah, 100%. So do I think it should have been for a Disneyland Forward project? No. I think where they have it is perfectly fine. And the fact that they've introduced the original trilogy characters like Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers, as you're clearly seeing on the screen, but Princess Leia, Han, Luke, Chewbacca, you have R2D2, you have Ahsoka, you have Boba Fett, you have the Mandalorian, you have Rey kind of hidden in the back corner by Rise of the Resistance. Now you have Kylo Ren at the visa visit spot in Tomorrowland, which don't even get me started on that crap. Is where we're at currently. But I kind of feel like just with Galaxy's Edge in general, I kind of feel that the concept art was so detailed, which is not a problem. I love detail when it comes to concept art, and you have always said don't get married to concept art. But the concept art for Galaxy's Edge was so detailed, where it showed roaming characters and it showed all this kinetic energy, where you literally thought you were in the Star Wars story. And don't get me wrong, they have characters, but it's almost like they're on a schedule. And when you look at the concept art, it doesn't really reflect that. It reflects that you're at a starport in Galaxy's Edge or Star Wars in general, and you have all these creatures, you have the stormtroopers constantly in the area, like you're in the story. So that's another thing that kind of damaged this entire land. My question to you is, before we jump to the next subject, is the mere fact, because this debuted on the 29th, where Galaxy's Edge got a transformation of original trilogy in at least 1/3 of the entire land, the entire property. Do you think the hype is still going to be there 6 months from now? Or do you think people are just going to fade away and said, hey, you guys debuted it, but we've seen enough, we're done?
I think honestly, that's going to be very telling because I think with anything, it's even like with Luke, when Luke premiered, the hype was there. Like everybody was there to see Luke and R2D2 come out and what have you, to finally see an original Star Wars character, even though that it was in the timeline of Mandalorian, but it was still cool and refreshing to see Luke. And then after a few days, it kind of
faded out.
no one really talked about it. So, but now coming to the fact that this is Darth Vader, this is Han Solo, this is Leia, I think it will have some legs. I really do. Especially probably during the summertime. With the extended hours till midnight and what have you, more people will come for the summertime and maybe even into the holidays. But
sure.
but that's still going to be very telling because you can only go so much with meet and greets. Now,
sure.
The fact that they did the meet and greets and then late this month we're going to get an update to Smuggler's Run, that's going to be really cool. So that'll kind of hold off a little bit, but an update of a ride and then a meet and greet, I still don't think that's enough. That's why I think one of my predictions for D23 is we're going to get something of an expansion for Galaxy's Edge, whether it's a third attraction or a restaurant, or maybe both.
You know what? I'm okay with that. The reason why I say that is when you look next to Oga's Cantina, right at the entrance of where the restaurant should be, you have a beverage cart right there. And in the original plans, Galaxy's Edge was supposed to have the restaurant that actually went into the Galactic Star Cruiser in Orlando at the Star Wars Hotel that failed miserably from Disney. So if they built the restaurant, I think the infrastructure is already there. I think they can make it a 2-story restaurant. And I swear it was your idea, George, so I'm going to give you full credit. I don't remember offhand. I think you mentioned it, though. If they built the restaurant like with the theming inside and it was a 2-story restaurant and it was kind of like Jabba's palace, and you had like on both floors, you had the band, the Cantina band, and you also had a full-fledged animatronic Jabba.
Mm-hmm.
Would that entice you to come into this land and make reservations to go experience that?
Hell to the yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of people down in Magic Kingdom go into a quick service restaurant, and you went in there briefly. It's called Cosmic Rays Cafe. Just to see Sunny Eclipse, a made-up character that Disney made off on the fly just for this quick service restaurant, and it's so nostalgic. It's like it's so weird, but it's funny. So can you imagine a life-size Jabba the Hutt inside a restaurant that interacts with guests as you eat? And that and here's the thing, the Hutts are going to be present in the Mando and Grogu movie. I mean, so the Hutts are still very much alive in that time frame. And also, for tomorrow at the time of this live for May the 4th, they're releasing the Jabba the Hutt ship for the what is it? Is it a sipper or is it a popcorn bucket?
I think it's a popcorn bucket. And I hope you're able to get one. I was supposed to go tomorrow, but that unfortunately did not happen. I had to cancel because it's just logistically, I can't make it there. I wish I could. But I do wish everybody, before I forget, because I know me and George can ramble on these live streams. That's why he's my co-host when it comes to live streams, is I want to wish everyone a happy May the 4th to you all, because I know I'll forget. So, but I hope that popcorn bucket, I think it's going to go viral, literally. So any final thoughts about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars night in general before we move on?
No, I think honestly, I think Galaxy's Edge has room and potential to grow. I think we may possibly hear something at D23, because the last D23 there wasn't really any kind of expansion or add-on to Disneyland, other than talking very briefly about the 70th and the Walt animatronic. Other than that, Disneyland really didn't get anything. All eyes are at DCA right now with the Avengers expansion with Coco and supposedly Pandora. So yeah, so Disneyland still needs some love, and I think honestly, Galaxy's Edge could possibly be that answer. And I think this is a great start by adding Vader and Leia and Han into the mix.
Uh-huh.
And when it comes time for Star Wars night, Disney, you're either going to have to fix it or honestly get rid of it. And
Yeah.
honestly, if you get rid of it, I'm okay with that, because now you could start putting the Ewoks and the Jawas in the land itself. And I'm cool with that.
Same here. So we'll have to see what happened with that, and we'll have to keep a close eye, especially at D23, which again, if many of you folks do not know, me and George will be at D23. It's going to be my first year, and George, just like he was for me and Tommy, a veteran when it comes to these things, he's been going to D23 every single year, or every 2 years that happens here in Anaheim, since all the way back to the early 2000s. So I'm very enticed to see what that's all going to be about.
Bro, absolutely. Can I just answer Mission Control's question?
Absolutely.
If Galaxy's Edge fits Hollywood Studios theme wise, I don't see why Pandora doesn't fit Hollywoodland at DCA. DHS and DCA's Hollywoodland have the same theme. No, as a question. Well, thank you for the question, Mission Control. Here's my thing. I really honestly don't think Galaxy's Edge fits Hollywood Studios for that reason. When you compare Galaxy's Edge to Disneyland, it blows Hollywood Studios out of the water. How it transitions from Toy Story Land into Galaxy's Edge, and then you go inside that big tunnel right by where the Muppet Courtyard used to be. Now it's going to be Monsters Inc. There is no cohesiveness. It feels like a lot of cut and paste. So that's why my concern is by them squeezing in Pandora in Hollywoodland because of that purpose. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
And Mission Control 77, we will be doing a reaction to a dear friend of ours, Mr. Hey Bricky, from his secondary channel here in a little bit. So definitely stay tuned for that, because we're going to review that, because he just did a video on that very subject. So we're going to talk about it. But I want to give a big shout out to Giant Peter Adventure. He actually tagged me and George in this. I guess Lego came out with a first look at Harry Potter 25 Years of Magic merch. So there's a new Lego set from Harry Potter. So that's really cool to see, because again, Harry Potter has been around since the late 90s, and the fact that they're still coming out with merch, the fact that the Harry Potter saga is still pretty bright in the sunlight, and the fact that the lands are still doing very well. I don't think Harry Potter is going away anytime soon. Even the HBO series.
The boy who lived is still alive.
Absolutely. The next thing I want to go to, this from KTLA 5, jumping across the street to DCA for a minute. The Avengers campus building right here. So obviously you got the trellis system here up front, which is going to be that Tony Stark Flight Labs. And then back here, everyone's thinking this is the e-ticket attraction. And I actually have, I think it's, let's see. Whoops. Not that one. Hold on. Time out. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Duh. I just had it. My fault. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, let's make this bigger. And again, I'm not gonna play the audio. Well, I was not planning to play the audio, but you can see KTLA 5 flying over. This is how massive this building is. So that building right there, that section, I want to believe that's the e-ticket attraction.
I would think, based on the size of the building, I can't see that big of a building being Stark Flight Lab.
Oh, hell no. But that is a massive, massive, massive building. And, you know, I'm glad they zoomed in. See if I could capture it real quick. Okay. So let me see if I could go back because I want to ask you something. Because as we look at it, okay, so I know it's kind of hard to see, but off to the left here where these bungalow trailers are, okay, and it's off to the side of where Tony Stark Flight Labs is going to be. Do you think they have enough room to build another quick service location or a sit down restaurant?
I would hope that they would put more food in there. I mean, because technically, when you look at Avengers Campus as a whole, correct me if I'm wrong, is it just Pim's Test Kitchen?
It's this Pim Test Kitchen. And actually, I got a better view of that angle because literally right where this big giant A is right here on the side of the building, we're literally going to walk across that area right there and walk right in here. So right where my mouse is where the walkway is going to be. Okay.
Right.
So more towards the white trailers and the Guardians of the Galaxy building for the attraction, it looks like we could have enough room for literally for a restaurant for a sit down location.
I mean, I would love that. On Disney Cruise Line, on I think it's all three of the Wish class ships, the Wish, the Treasure, and the Destiny. They have a restaurant called Worlds of Marvel, and it's an interactive dining experience. So while you have dinner, there's a storyline going on where you have to help the Avengers and I forget who takes over the ship.
Sure.
But you have to help the Avengers and you have to press like they have like this device that's sitting in the middle of your table and they'll tell you when to press the button and everything. And then at the end, Spider-Man or Doctor Strange or an Avenger comes out for the finale and everything. And I thought that was really cool. Now I love that experience more so for the cruise line, but if they did something along the lines of that as a sit-down restaurant,
sure,
I think would be really cool. Disneyland, the resort as a whole needs more sit down restaurant experiences.
I 100% agree. And I don't think it's in their original plans to build something like that. But do you see?
Well, that might be something as an add-on we may get at D23.
That's what I'm wondering. Or like a phase 2 to this construction
Yeah,
project.
because honestly, they could still be working on that building structure, but they're just not telling us. So, and honestly, I think a restaurant building would take less time. And that's probably maybe possibly why they're not working on it now, because they'll start work on it when they're almost done with the attraction. So it'll coexist around the same opening time.
100%. I personally would like to see it. I hope that's literally the case because I do agree with you. A sit down interactive restaurant goes so hard. Like, I mean, I never realized going to Walt Disney World and the Magic Kingdom and all the 4 parks out there. I did not realize how Walt Disney World really incorporated the dine the show element together as I did going out there. It literally felt like every single restaurant that George planned for me and Tommy, and obviously him and his wonderful wife Abigail. Um, every restaurant had some type of entertainment tied to the food. So if Walt Disney World can do it, why can't we get a little taste of it out here? You know what I mean?
Now, here's another thing too. Say we don't get a restaurant. I'm gonna maybe ruin
Uh-oh.
uh some hope here.
Oh boy.
Due to the fact of when they purchased those Kuka arms
Okay.
and they didn't utilize them for what the e-ticket was supposed to get. And they're like, okay, we just paid all this money for these Kuka arms. What do we do with them?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, let's just create a smaller attraction, no theme to it. And we could just say, hey, you're going into like a laboratory kind of like workshop from Stark Industries. You're going to train with the Avengers and you're going to go on these Kuka arms. That building alone could have been a sit-down restaurant. But
You
because that they purchased those Kuka arms and they're not using it for the e-ticket attraction, that's where that space could have been utilized.
Well, it's interesting. I don't have a POV of it tonight. I know there's one out there, but and I want to say it's the Avengers campus in Disneyland Paris. They actually have an Iron Man themed sit down restaurant. Like they actually have like a big, I think it's the Juggernaut Iron Man suit in the restaurant. I could be wrong. Peter knows probably more about that than I do, but something like that would have been really cool because I kind of feel like the Kuka arm thing. I appreciate the effort of Disney trying to add capacity, but for a attraction that is utilizing the technology of something that's been around for 20 plus years, is it really something you want to incorporate in 2026, 2027?
Well, and Peter says they did spend a lot of money on those, so they don't want it to go to waste.
Oh,
And
sure.
then he also says the Iron Man is a quick service. Pym is the sit-down buffet restaurant. The Captain America Super Diner is a restaurant. Wow, so they got several.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. And that's what I mean. I'm not complaining though, because I've said all along that Disney needs to stop copy paste, copy paste. I don't like that anymore. Galaxy's Edge for me was literally the last straw. I want to be able to say, George, we're going to Disneyland Paris because I want to experience this. You know, compared to, oh, we're flying to Disneyland Paris. Yeah, I'm gonna have to skip half of the attractions because we got them here in California. You know what I mean? I want to experience a whole new, you know, adventure out there. I don't want to experience something I can experience back home. I want different things, and that's what I appreciate about Walt Disney World. Yeah, they have some of the same attractions, but some of those same attractions have a different element to it, a different storyline to it, but based off the same IP. And then they just have stuff completely different in general that either we used to have or never had. So I do appreciate that for sure. But going forward real quick, because there's a quick story, it's kind of like a shut and close type topic. Magic Bands. The Magic Band Plus dwindles away at the Disneyland Resort and just goes away, period. Like they're not selling them anymore at the park. You can buy them at disneystore.com or at Walt Disney World at the parks. But the Disneyland Resort out here in Anaheim is phasing them out. Now, I have to ask you, with all the infrastructure they put into this technology, not just of experiences inside the parks, both at
$1
Disneyland.
billion. It was $1 billion investment.
Crazy. So Disneyland and DCA have some interactive elements as long with downtown Disney. And the entrance gates, they just got done spending all that money updating the entrance gates. do have this capability as well. Some people have said online that they're getting rid of them completely and calling the operation a failure. Some people are saying that they're probably going to come out with a phase 3, but we probably won't see it until we start seeing Disneyland Forward projects start to come alive at the Disneyland Resort. And some people just say they don't know what to think.
Here's the thing. It can kind of go either way. I can't really say one way or the other. I don't think that they'll get rid of it completely. I think they may scale back a little bit
Sure.
just because it's underutilized at the moment, and there's really nothing at Disneyland that can really spark more purchases for it. So maybe they're just doing it temporarily to save money. But I
Sure.
think when Disneyland Forward gets really moving and they start expanding out the parks and adding more hotels and more, to keep people enticed to stay on property, then they may bring back a new kind of version of Magic Band Plus for specifically Disneyland, because it works really well with Walt Disney World. But looking at the grand scale of Walt Disney World compared to Disneyland, people stay on property more than Disneyland. People utilize it as package deals than Disneyland. A lot of times people are just locals coming with the 3-day SoCal ticket or the Magic Key, so they don't need really a Magic Band. Although I will say it is a very convenient way to get into the park where you don't have to pull up your phone, or if your phone dies and you need to charge your battery, then and you can't get access into the park, then you have the Magic Band. So I think they'll still utilize it, but I don't think they're going to push it the way they do for Walt Disney World.
Okay, so let me ask you this before we jump to the next subject is, do you think that people would have been more receptive in a positive way about the Magic Band Plus at the Disneyland Resort if everything they invested with the technology that we already have in place existed, which it does, but they also add the capabilities of unlocking your hotel room and having the capability to link your payment card to it. So if you want to buy merch or you want to pay for food at the Disneyland Resort, you could have. If they added those two things, do you think we would be seeing a phase out?
I just don't think when it comes to the 3 hotels that they have, people obviously stay on property.
Sure.
But I don't think it's enough compared to the numbers of Walt Disney World pulls.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think with the ratio, that's probably why they're not doing it.
No, 100%.
But I think if they do get more hotels and they expand these parks out, that would make it a vacation destination, then I could see them doing it.
100%. And
now, I do want to mention too, really quick, because it's kind of like on the subject but off. I'm for sure you probably saw it on social media, but it doesn't have to do with the Magic Keys, but it has to do with just updating things. That there's a possibility that Josh D'Amaro is looking into a super app that would incorporate Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, the Disney Store, and Disney Plus.
I heard that.
That I think is, if it's true, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's a rumor, if it's hearsay, if it's even going to happen. But how wild would that be if Disney just has one big super app and you just click which department you need?
This is the problem I have with that. I think it's a genius idea. Do not get me wrong. The problem I have is when stuff like
crashes.
What?
Crashes?
Yeah, exactly. So if something goes on virtual queue or there's an experience you have to sign up with virtual queue, it crashes the system. So if you tie everything in the one app and call it a mega Disney app, and let's say there's issues at the Disneyland Resort, and then let's say there's issues with Disney Plus, everything connected to it the cruise lines, Walt Disney World, and any other thing they tie into this app will crash. So
not to mention a super mega app like that would take up probably so much of a person's data.
oh god, yeah.
Just
It'd
just
be
hold it.
ridiculous. It would be so bad. I don't think it would be a smart move. I again, I commend Disney. I commend Tomorrow to try to figure out new ways to kind of, make his legacy, his own.
Not unless they actually talk to Apple and Apple adds more data onto our phones.
Yeah. I think right now, I'm sorry to say it. I just don't think Tomorrow needs to be focusing on something like that right now. I think there's way too many other things he needs to focus on, and a mega super app is not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, because what I heard, supposedly it was supposed to consist of Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise, shopping, gaming,
God,
Disney Plus.
oh God, no,
Yeah.
no. It would be like, I don't know how many of you folks that are watching have ever played Grand Theft Auto, and when you buy Grand Theft Auto and you download it on your game console or you download it on your PC, and it takes up so much memory, and then when they start adding add-ons and expansions and updates, it takes up even more memory.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this mega app would probably do, but it'd be completely unstable. Extremely unstable.
I would probably have to buy a separate phone just to hold that app alone by itself.
No, thank you. Pass. But speaking of hotels, we got some new concept art. And again, I have to behave myself because George has mentioned hundreds of times, never get married to concept art. But I think this might be an exception, maybe. But the new Lakeshore Lodge, Disney World newest resort. This is supposed to be debuting in 2027, the summer of 2027. And you know what's funny about 2027? Let me think about that for a minute. Oh, yeah, that's right. Me and George are heading back down to Walt Disney World to hopefully capture Tropical Americas. And we were contemplating, because we're all like, okay, well, maybe since we're down there, we're gonna go to Animal Kingdom, experience the Tropical Americas. And then we were talking about doing the Disney Treasure, which would be my first time going on a Disney cruise ship, period. George is, again, Godfather veteran. He's been on so many already. It's ridiculous, but amazing. But then we saw this news and we're like, whoa, they're opening this possibly in summer 2027. So we're like, okay, well, this gets interesting. So not only are we going to experience Tropical Americas, but now this new resort, we might have to experience that. So staying there possibly, logistically, I know George loves figuring out puzzles. So this is going to be...
I live for that.
Yeah, you live for it. And then to add a cherry on top, now we're hearing that the Disney Believe, the newest cruise ship coming to the Disney Cruise Line, is now going to debut in the summer of 2027. So now we got 3 experiences happening in Orlando: Tropical Americas, this new Lakeshore Lodge Hotel, and the Disney Believe cruise ship.
Yeah, a lot is actually coming out in 2027, especially for Walt Disney World. I think, hopefully the Believe, I would hope, would come out in the summertime. That's what I'm kind of aiming for. I think obviously Tropical Americas, they're going to want to open that, like, I would say right before summer. I'm kind of aiming for possibly, it would even be nice if it would be like between April, May-ish, for Earth Day, because Earth Day is April 22nd. So, and then this would also fit perfectly with that, because the Lakeside Lodge is And yes, and as Hudson Thomas says, yes, there are some parts of it that does look like apartment buildings and what have you. But and again, I'm going to speak with my own words until we actually see it in person in the flesh. But I do love how they're incorporating some of the what's up, amusement park pirates, always good to see you. They're incorporating Disney IP that's kind of underappreciated,
Yeah.
if they keep it the way that it's supposed to be. They're supposed to incorporate Pocahontas, Brother Bear, and oh, what was the
Bambi.
other one? Bambi. Thank you. And I think that is phenomenal if that is the case, that they can like theme like those, IPs that aren't really utilized. So, yeah. So um, hopefully, of what we're looking at right now, that is the end product.
100%. And anybody that wants to check out some updates about this newest resort coming to Walt Disney World, I do recommend to go check out WDWNT POV YouTube channel, because Tom Corliss actually got exclusive access to walk around. I haven't seen the video yet, and get up close to the construction of this project. So definitely go check that out on his channel. I'm going to be checking it out because I want to see what it's all about. But it's interesting. We have possibly 3 mega tie-in projects all debuting supposedly in 2027. So that's going to be a busy summer for us. That's going to be a long, a long 2 weeks for me and you.
Oh yeah, and as I said, I would love to aim for the maiden voyage for the Disney Believe.
100%.
Um, but if it doesn't happen at the time frame that we want it, hey, I'm still excited for the Disney Treasure. I have not experienced that ship yet.
Oh, wow.
But everyone that I've spoke to says it could possibly be my favorite Disney cruise ship thus far.
Wow.
Shout out to DCL Duo. I just recently had them on the channel. Please look out for the video coming out soon. They are, you think that I'm the godfather of the cruise line. These two are, they're already in pearl status. So they recommended to me to definitely check out the Treasure, because they said that it's a long shot. Like, I would still do a Disney cruise line, but they say after you experience the Treasure, they said you would probably not want to do another cruise ship. You would always want to do the Treasure. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's insane. But let me ask you one last thing about this before we jump to the next subject is, do you think, and it's a great possibility, but do you think we will hear more news about this at D23 for the parks panel, possibly? And if not, on the showroom floor, would they have a booth debuting this? Like,
Yeah,
more
I think honestly, I think we're going to get an opening date for this.
Okay.
I think, or at least the month that it's going to
Gotcha.
open. And when it comes to the showroom floor, they incorporate everything with Disney. I wouldn't be surprised, because this is going to be a DVC resort.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't surprise that if they don't have a DVC booth to entice people to buy into DVC, and this would be the headliner.
100%. Because from what I watched on WDWNT for Tom Corliss's weekly Disney news update, he was talking about just briefly about this resort. He was saying that there are going to be multiple options, like a one bedroom, a 2-bedroom option, a villa, a house. There's going to be multiple options for this resort here for hotel space. So definitely something I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, they'll have a booth on the showroom floor talking about this, or at least showing concept art, or at least what the rooms look like, or something. Because I think you even mentioned that they're even going to have a Disney Cruise Line booth on the showroom floor, if I had to
Yes,
guess.
they will. If it's anything like how it was the last couple years, they will have a Disney Cruise Line little area where they actually have even a meet and greet area of the costumes in their sailing uniforms. So I
Oh,
think
I
that
can't wait.
that's really cool. So yeah, so I can definitely see that. So to Hudson Thomas concern, hopefully theming, not just pictures and wall art. I would hope so too. There was one piece of concept art that I do believe that there was a Pocahontas statue that
Uh-huh.
was in the main lobby. Again, hopefully they keep that. But yeah, I hope they incorporate it, but subtly. Like I hope that they give us big, bold, rich colors when it comes to it, but they don't like it. I hope it fits like sort of like the Wilderness Lodge. I hope that that's where and even Grand Californian, how it kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
blends in well. I hope that's the case. And Amusement Park Pirate says the new resort looks nice. Yeah, from this piece of concept art, it really does. I hope Disney sticks to it. I really hope they do.
100%. Um, it's still sticking with Disney. We do have a POV from a dear friend of ours, um, Disney the Drew Dude. And please, by the way, on a side note for Drew, please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Just the other day, he lost his dad um, too early, and it was a traumatic experience. And I know alongside Hollow Gelato, but including myself and many others that know Drew personally and have talked to him and whatnot, that our hearts and prayers goes out to not just him but his mom, his family, because I can only imagine how difficult it is to sit there and lose a parent, because we all go through it one way or another, and it's never ever easy. And actually, Hollow Gelato has a little bit to tell us about that, because he actually knew Drew's dad personally. If you
I
want to
did.
elaborate on that.
I got to I had the honor and privilege of meeting Drew's dad on several occasions when they met up with us down at Walt Disney World. And I have to say, very sweet, very kind, very warm hearted, very funny. I could see where Drew gets his personality. I haven't met his mom. I'm for sure his mom is very sweet as well. But meeting his dad, I can see like that kind of spitting image through Drew. So I'm so glad that I was able to have that experience. That's why I was shocked when I heard the news, and I echo Conductor's thoughts. Prayers go out to him, his mom, his family. That had to be hard, and especially to be a part of that and witness that, and just and Drew will say it best. As I said, you could check out his story on X. And also, too, for anyone that would like to help him and his mom out during this difficult time, they did set up a GoFundMe page on the website. You could just look him up by his name. And for any little bit that people can contribute to help out would really help him and his mom out. So if anyone can do that, it would be very much appreciative.
100%. And Drew, if you are watching this, again, our hearts and prayers go out to you and your family. Can't imagine that it's an easy time for you, and hopefully very soon, this next coming summer, I'll be able to meet up with you. I know we weren't able to meet up with you this previous trip, but I'm hoping to actually personally meet you in person, because George actually mentioned he's another tall guy. So me and him relate.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on here with the tall guy thing. Like, but yeah, I'm very curious because yeah, Drew is very tall, and
Jeez.
I'm curious to see where the two of you.
Hey, Well, if I don't see him in Walt Disney World, if he's coming to D23, I'm going to see him, and we're going to have to measure it out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Crazy. But this is from Drew, the Disney dude. This is a POV that was taken, I think, today, of the new and revamped Thunder Mountain at Magic Kingdom. Here we go. I'm not going to play the audio, obviously, because I think there is some audio aspects to this. And
and actually, 2 seats in front of him is Tom Corliss.
I thought that was Tom Corliss. He looked very familiar. That's crazy that I don't even see him from the front, and I could tell that's
Tom. You can tell that it's Tom. Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. Oh my gosh. But I could tell you right away, I'm liking how we take off here. There's a little bit different than what we have at Disneyland. Just a little bit. But from what you
here is where we're going to see the lighting package.
Okay, right, so let's see if we can see it here. See if it's good or bad, or you let me know, because I've never seen it.
Oh, that's oh yeah, that's definitely a new lighting package. Oh wow. Oh, it actually changes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty cool.
Now they actually said that. Whoa, can you go back a little bit?
Sure. Hold on.
Right before they descend down, look at that. Right there. Look at all that cleared space that's going to be for Piston Peak and Villains. Look at all that. It's just
crazy.
It's all cleared out.
Wow.
What's up, Remy D?
Oh, we got Remy D in the house? Oh, heck yeah. Now it's a party.
D. Oh, you just missed this by a few days? Oh, man, that stinks.
Oh, that sucks.
We actually, when we were down in Florida, we just missed the closure of Rock and Roller Coaster and the reopening of Buzz Lightyear.
And I think we met. Oh, no. This was already closed. No, you're right, though. It's like, damn it. I wanted to ride Rock and Roller Coaster, but I guess it gives me another excuse.
Yep. And it actually is, I think it's actually reopening May 6th.
Yeah.
I mean, May 26th. Excuse me.
May 26th. So,
but now what I've heard was that they reduced down the height limit and people were worried that they slowed down the train. But a lot of people are saying that the train is actually going faster because they updated the vehicles, they updated the track. So they're saying it's actually going a little bit faster.
Oh, wow. It seems like it's going as fast as ours does, maybe a tad faster. But they updated all the track. So the track completely got ripped out and replaced with brand new track. And then I think there's the other element right here that they were supposed to update.
Let's see.
I don't know if they did or not.
I'll let you know. Okay, I guess it's like a little bit of lighting. Not right. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more.
I thought it was going to be like ours. I thought that was the whole point of it. So I don't know if they couldn't get it together or what the deal is. I don't know if they budget cut it out or I'm not sure.
Or maybe we just assumed that it was because Disney never said that's what it was going to be. But I am glad that they put so much money, time, and effort into giving this a nice spruce of R&R, because this tells me that Big Thunder is here to stay.
Oh, 100%. If they got rid of Big Thunder, I think that would be a massive issue. I mean, people would go in uproar. But the same day this ride debuted, which was today, it also had its share of issues, meaning 3-hour waits and sorry.
I was going to say a Lego set.
Yeah, Lego set, but right here. The loading station caught fire. Literally. I don't know what the hell that was all about, but that was not good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. Now, see, if that is the case, because I heard that Drew was going to look into it, but here's the thing: if you had a ride that was going on that it was down for over a year, how could it be so bad that it actually causes possible smoke and fire that it needs to have a fire extinguisher? That's pretty bad.
That is not a good look. I'm going to be honest. It's not a good look. That is really bad. Like, I mean,
So did it reopen?
I think they closed it for the day. I think
Hmm.
because the lines literally went, from what I heard, they literally went all the way to the Haunted Mansion because the Haunted Mansion was closed.
Mm.
But the line stretched all the way to the Haunted Mansion. So you can imagine how long that line is. And I can
Crazy.
imagine because I can see it in my mind, seeing their Tianas and all that, and how long that, no. Oh my God.
Yes, and Park Explorer Adventure in the Haas, welcome in. How did the track get on fire? My only guess is from it being a brand new track and them having it kind of oiled and everything. I'm assuming maybe from
Oh, a
the
real
movement of the quick movement of the wheels, it may have sparked something.
hot
Again,
grease.
uh hot grease. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's yeah, as I said, like the oil or something. Like I think just because of the freshness of it, being that this was the opening day and it was a constant, because when you test a vehicle, it's different than when you actually open it because then you're doing it around the clock. Now, again, is that any excuse for a track to catch on fire? Absolutely not. I'm glad and hope that no one was able that got injured or everyone's safe and everything. But yeah, things like that should not happen. But I'm glad that Disney was able to, hopefully, fix the issue. So we'll see if it reopens on time tomorrow.
100%.
Oh, and then Remy D says the ending part is the showing of the giant gold nugget. That's the unique
Ah,
about this version. So that was the flashing of the gold nugget. Okay.
okay. So it does have a little bit different ending than what ours does with the exploding cave.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and Remy D, that is very true. I'm actually impressed too that they got it down to 38 inches because now it allows like a whole nother set of generation of riders to go on it because it now if they were 38 inches before and couldn't ride it, now they can.
A
So
100%. I want to give a big shout out to Drew, the Disney dude, and Scott Gustin and Tom Corliss and all the East Coast vloggers out there for capturing this. Hopefully, they can kind of do a little bit of an investigation and find out why this happened. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. Because if it happens again, then they're going to have problems and they might have to close it for another couple
however
weeks
long. Yeah.
and investigate why that's happening. And hopefully they don't have to go that far.
Could you imagine replacing the replacement track?
Well, let me ask you this because um I know they replaced the entire track throughout, but was the load station actually that track, was that actually replaced or no? Do we know that for sure?
I thought when they said they replaced the whole entire track, I thought it was every part of it.
That's something I would like to know because if they didn't, that could be a contributing factor.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I would
So
think when they said everything, but yeah, I'm not sure. There maybe they didn't.
yeah, so I definitely want to find that out for sure. But this is going to be the last part of the Disney side of the live stream. So this is from again our dear friend Bricky. This is going to be a reaction video. Me and George are going to react to it. You guys have comments, you could post in the comments. And George, you know the rules. At any point, of the video if you want me to stop and pause and talk about something that Bricky might say, let me know. But here we go. Mr. Hey Bricky from his secondary channel, Bricky Vlogs.
Is he talking?
I'm sorry. My fault. Hold on. Time out. Time out. Because I can hear it. You guys, unfortunately, cannot. So give me 1 second here. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it. Sometimes I don't remember to put the right setting on.
Every article has been updated and moved that up to 9 buildings. So today, let's break down what's getting removed and just how much space are they actually clearing for Avatar. So when it's all said and done, you'll know exactly how much space they have. And oh yeah, there's also a 10th building that's getting removed that has so much to do with the future of Disneyland Florida. That one will be happening probably this year. But before we can get to that, let's talk about the 9 buildings that are being taken out of the Hollywood backlot. Sound good? All right, let's go. Now, we already know that the Monsters, Inc. building will definitely be one of the buildings to go in 2027. The attraction will be open for the remainder of this year, but they need to take that building out. And believe it or not, it's not one of the biggest buildings here, but definitely it's in the way of everything that's going to come next. And the position of it and its neighbors has so much to do with where Disneyland Forward really needs to take off. And once all this gets done, it will, of course, trigger much bigger projects down the line. So what we're looking at is basically that towel game where you got to keep sliding the towels around to make the tiger. Oh, buddy, we're getting ready to make that tiger. So then right next to the Monsters, Inc. building is the Hollywood Lounge that also sits right on the monorail path. That little cocktail area is coming out. So when you add these two together, you start to get a sizable entryway to what's going to come next. And even though the Hollywood Lounge isn't a big building per se, it does play into a much bigger plan, which is why all these little pieces need to get gutted out. But once we realize what's getting gutted, it'll give us a very good idea on how to pay attention to the perimeters of this project. What? What? That's not supposed to open until May 1st. And they just stopped it right there. What a surprise. There goes.
Okay, I do have to say, just to clarify, when you have the monorail stopping like that and the brakes squeak that bad, yeah, maybe invest in some new brakes, because that did not sound good.
Well, there's been a lot of issues with the Disneyland monorail lately. Breaking down several times and like it's sounding like that. I don't know. Like
it's starting to scare me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see it like pull a Big Thunder of what happened today. Like,
oh hell, you imagine that?
God forbid.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It was the Ghost Monorail. So now that we have these 2 center buildings being removed, then I think you know what comes next. They're neighbors on the left and the right, which would be Studio 17 and Studio 12. Not only will this get us up to 4 buildings being removed, but now look at the size of the footprint that we have here. We now have a massive opening to get over to where the expansion is going to happen. But we've also really opened up this courtyard, making, I think, more space than you're aware of. And keep in mind, both of these studio buildings, if they are indeed part of the 9, they are big. And originally, I thought maybe they were going to keep the shells and kind of build around them. But if these go out, that gets us closer to a Galaxy's Edge moment, where we saw what happened with Galaxy's Edge. To take that building out, and believe it or not, it's not one.
Let me skip past.
Wait, can you pause that real quick? Okay. I do want to make something clear too, and I don't want to be a negative Nancy or anything, but I'm just giving my opinion as we watch it. There was a key word that Bricky said. He said, if they get removed. So we're still talking in the sense of we don't know what is going to be removed, what is not, what is going to be completely demolished, what is going to be rethemed.
Sure.
We're all still in the unknown with this project. And again, and removing all these buildings, yes, would be a giant footprint. I still don't know, based off of what this land is going to consist of, is it still enough? And especially, you're still going to have what we just showcased a few minutes ago, this monorail track that's cutting right in the center. It's not even around. See, if it was around Hollywoodland, you can maybe get away with it because then it would be behind the show building for the e-ticket attraction for Pandora. So it would be going like towards the backstage area. But the fact that the track is cutting through the back lot, that's where I'm trying to wonder where all this is going. And especially since they're going to have to put in a major, basically, water hole because of the attraction.
Yeah. And one of the things, well, I want to say one, but multiple things that bug me is, like you said, they're going to have to add this pool of water right in the middle of the land. And I could see Bricky's point. Everything that's towards the Hollywood Boulevard side would be a transition point. So everything behind the monorail going towards the bus load and unload area would be Avatar, which definitely I personally don't think is enough room. On top of that, you know, one of the things that bugs me, because I did a video with Orange Grove 55 the other day, it's on his channel, and we reacted to this very video, was me and him came to agreements that on something like this, where it's a project that is totally controversial, I wish Disney would be more transparent about this project, because the way I see it is, when it was announced 2 years ago at D23 2024, which you and OG55 were there, were present, they announced it. And the problem I have with this whole situation is you have news organizations, KTLA 5, you have the Wrap, you have a former Imagineer, you have people that are content creators that are on the media list for Disney, all giving serious doubts about Avatar going in the spot. Now, do I want that? No, absolutely not. I want Avatar to go in the DCA. Do I think the Hollywood backlot is the perfect idea for that? No. But if Disney's on intent of building it there, then so be it.
Right there, because it's not going to stop me from going to the parks or experience the land. I hope it's a success. It's just right now, of the footprint that I'm looking at right now, and this is where Bricky kind of breaks it down for us, that how it will look or could look if we remove all these buildings. But I still don't know, with that monorail going through there, and then when you do the bus load unload area, they would only utilize that part of the bus load unload area that drops people off from the Toy Story parking lot, because it can't go any further to the other side, because if you go to the other side, it's going to kill the path, or walking path. Sorry, folks, because I'm East Coast, where people actually walk into the entrance. Because when you look at that Eastern Gateway concept art, you still see that pathway with the old classic tradition Disneyland sign that we're going to get, which I hope we get. That looks badass. I hope we get that back. They'll probably buy it back off of John Stamos. But you can see what I like to call Pandora's ass smacked up right next to that walking path. So when people say, oh, they're going to add it through the bus load unload area, it's not going to be the whole bus load unload area. It's just going to be that sliver that's on the left side. It's not going to run all the way to the other side by Tomorrowland.
And 100% agree. And I want to tell everybody right now in the comments, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is Disney not being transparent about this
And I
project.
think the reason why, and maybe I'm sticking up for Disney for this notion. I
Sure.
think the reason why is because the controversy of back and forth between both sides started very recently.
Yeah.
Of like, it all started when Jim Scholl was like mentioning about Zootopia fitting into this area. It wouldn't work out for Pandora. And then Pandora's box, no pun intended, opened up and people were like, oh, I agree with Jim Scholl. Oh, I don't agree with Jim Scholl. It's happening the same year as D23. And I think the reason why Disney is keeping quiet is because we all purchased tickets. We're expecting a good show. And if they announce something too soon, then we're going to have people bitch and complain and say, oh, well, why didn't they save that for D23? That would have been an awesome announcement. We just paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to go into the Honda Center. So right now, Disney's in the position of damned if they do, damned if they don't.
100% agree. And I couldn't agree more on that. The only thing I would say, without giving any exclusive detail to the general public,
just give us like a yes or a no.
Yeah, just give us clarification.
But do you think maybe that's why? And again, this is where I go back. If they say no, then there spoils the surprise that something else could potentially go in there.
I think even if Avatar was originally greenlit for this area, but now it's not, I think they still would say Avatar is still going in this area, even though they have something else in mind. And then literally the day after the convention's over, because it's a 3-day convention, or at least a couple days after the fact, where they don't have to stand in front of 30,000 people in the Honda Center, they'll make the announcement online saying, yep, we changed our mind. Avatar is going to come, but it's not coming until Disneyland Forward. We are now going to incorporate Zootopia. It's going to be a better fit, or something.
I can see Disney doing that route, but I really honestly don't think people would have a horrible reaction to that. I think if they say Avatar is still coming, but it's going to come much later, it'll be a part of Disneyland Forward. But in the meantime, we're going to give you Zootopia in this. Sure. I think, honestly, people would welcome it. The reason why is because people already know that this land is done regardless. Monsters, Inc. is on its way out. When it came time for Piston Peak, no one knew that the Rivers of America was going to go away until that Monday.
No.
But everyone knows Monsters, Inc. is going to be kaput.
100%.
So it's just to the matter of, okay, what's going to replace it? And I really can't foresee, even though there are people that are Team Avatar, Team Zootopia, I think the majority that's going to be in that room, the fact that we would get the best of both worlds where we can get Zootopia and Avatar, I don't think it would be such a horrible idea to announce it right there and then.
Well, I agree with that. But if they are hell-bent on bringing Avatar into this space, the one thing I want as someone that I call myself an investor of owning a Magic Key, having a subscription to Disney Plus, I own some shares of Disney stock. So I call myself an investor at this point going forward, is I want further clarification at D23. And I'm not just talking about one.
Oh, we would have to get clarification one way or the other, because if we don't, then I start questioning if the project is even going to happen. Despite that an Imagineer told us it's going forward at DCA's 25th anniversary panel.
Sure.
But again, was that part of her job that she had to tell us that and she couldn't spill anything? Now, another thing is, too, that the Pandora concept art is still hanging up in the Lincoln Theater when you exit Walt Disney A Magical Life.
Yep.
With the mural, it's still up on the wall. So
So again, my whole issue is Disney keeping quiet, and all they have to do is put a simple post out, say it's still happening in the Hollywood backlot. Further details are coming at D23. If they said something like that, it would eliminate all this confusion. They won't do it. That's what's frustrating me.
Now, you know what they also can do too is if they have a full model completed now of Pandora, and it'll be on the showroom floor, and they have the special private media event, it will be announced before the expo even starts.
100%. My other issue before we play this, resume the video, is if Avatar goes in this space, they build it, it only has one attraction, which would be the water attraction. So obviously a section or a portion of the space is going to have to be made available for a water treatment facility for the water attraction. So do keep that in mind. So that takes away space for the land as well. Is if Disney builds this thing and people do not like it and they hate the damn thing, I'm going to tell you right now, and I hate to be this person, but I will tell you right now, I will go on social media, I will do a live that day, that week, probably from location, and say, you all wanted Avatar in this space, here you go, instead of being impatient or being patient and waiting until it went into the Simba parking lot where you can have had 2 to 3 times more room to actually build a proper Avatar. We crammed it in the Hollywood backlot because Disney said so. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a realist here. If someone told me, whether it's Disney, whether it's my job at Costco, or any company or any person told me this is happening, so if that person or that company told you, I'm going to jump off a bridge, or tell you to jump off a bridge and say your survival rate's 99%, even though you have a parachute and whatnot, there's still that 1% that something could go wrong. Just because Disney said, oh, Avatar's coming in this spot, that's a lock and play. No, it's not. Because when you have independent news organizations, and not even Disney themselves saying anything, and you have independent news organizations saying, yeah, we have serious doubts, we have inside information saying that Disney is actually contemplating the idea of possibly not doing Avatar in this space, I have to ask everybody, doesn't that concern you when you're hearing stuff like that, whether the sources are true or not? And again, I understand that you can't believe everything that's said online. I understand that. You can't believe everything a concept art shows you. I understand that. But when you have independent news organizations saying all this stuff, and content creators that are on the media list that have connections to WDI and Disney, the one person that should be saying something is keeping quiet, does that not concern you at any level? That's what I ask. So besides them being vague on the details and not giving us updates like I think they should, and it's not that they're babysitting us like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, it's a concerning factor. Because when you sit there and you upscale prices on merch, on parking, on food, on tickets, on experiences in a way that you've never done in years prior, and now a project that was announced 2 years ago is now in controversial mode, and all Disney has to say is, oh, we're still working on it, it's in early development. Okay.
Yeah, if we go to this D23 and we get that same response to say, oh, don't worry, folks, it's coming, we're still going to have it, and we don't get no new news on anything, I'm sorry, I'm calling the boy who cried wolf. I'm sorry.
Same. I'm sorry. I know a lot of our viewers with hope for the best, and I hope for the best.
I do too.
I hope Avatar does come in this spot, and I hope I'm wrong, because me and George will be literally the first people online on a live and say, you know what, we screwed up, we messed up, we're wrong, and Disney did a fantastic job. But until they start doing it, and until they start building this thing,
and until that it is completed, because even if they do confirm that, okay, it is officially going here, when I see it for myself and it is spectacular as the one done in Animal Kingdom, then yes, I will be more than happy to eat the crow, and I will get on a live and say, you know what? I really love this area. Disney really outdid themselves. This is phenomenal of how they transformed the Hollywood backlot into Pandora.
100%.
But I'm sorry, but until I actually see it, this one, I'm struggling very hard to see it happening. Now, a lot of people can say, well, they rerouted the Rivers of America to put in Galaxy's Edge. Yes, very true. They did. Disney can do anything. They are master magicians of this. But the difference is that was a whole completed empty back area.
Backstage.
That is new. That they utilized, that they expanded Disneyland out. This is a little nook and cranny of an area that has a monorail going through it. I don't even know. I mean, they could possibly reroute the monorail. I don't know, but I think it would cost them a lot to break that track.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm with George on this until we start seeing construction, and we're probably going to be, not negative, but highly doubtful about this project until we see it from the first shovel into the ground to them cutting the red ribbon of the grand opening. It's going to be very hard to see this happening in this space. I'm sorry. I'm just being a realist, but let's continue this video because me and George can go on for another 3 hours talking about that. So let's continue.
That's usually
go away,
how it happens. That's usually how it always happens. We'll take a 20-minute bricky video and turn it into a 2-hour. So.
Exactly.
Like breaking down how the little buildings bring everything else together. Now, our 6th building would be the last one I think that they're actually removing inside of where the theme park borders sit today. And I believe that would be that they're going to demo out the stage behind me. Because think about it. The stage definitely does interfere with the overall footprint, but it would also set up a very awkward and weird transition into whatever comes next. My thought process is they're probably going to keep the building behind me, but the stage could be a part of that entire building. And if that whole thing goes from Schmoozies all the way over to the far end, then that is creating a massive entryway into what happens next. And I wouldn't be surprised if it just becomes parkland that brings you up to the grand entryway and creates a transitional space, or I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes some sort of rock work. And once you go through a tunnel, boom, you're in Pandora. So I don't know if it's just the stage or the entire building, but that would definitely get us to 6. And I wanted to get to 6 because I know there's definitely 3 that they'll be removing from backstage. So let's break down these 3, and it also gets kind of dicey on what these 3 are, because do some of these qualify as buildings? But the easiest one to figure out is there is a rectangle building that sits just next to Monsters, Inc. on the backside of the Hollywood Lounge. I think that building is safe to say that is indeed a building. Where it gets interesting is this little blue thing, this temporary thing on the edge of where the tunnel is that goes over to Disneyland. Is that a building? Or on the backside of the studio, is that an isolated building? You see that little rectangle thing there? So either one of these could be part of another project, or maybe the little blue thing just doesn't count. But don't worry, I've done my math. because behind all of this, there is indeed a building that sits back there, and then it has a very, very long storage capacity that runs along the length of the backside of DCA. Now, the storage capacity is just Disney maximizing all of its space. But I do believe the mobile home that would be on the far west side, I do believe that constitutes as a standalone building. So one way or another, back there, you have your three, a solid three, depending on if the one building is a building or if the other building is a standalone building. Like, that part gets a little bit weird, but you have your three, which allows me to do the math to pick the 6 inside of the park. But oh wait, there's more, because where this gets important is those 3 buildings, along with the 6 in the front, now is making a pretty massive footprint. And that's before we add on maybe half of the bus drop-off zone right now, the transportation hub. So once you put that together, now Disney has a pretty clean space. Whereas I'm reading it, the hard edges would be the edge of PhilharMagic and the Hyperion Theater. I feel like everything else in there is for sure up for play. And coming up this Sunday in the update video, I explained to you why I believe the Hyperion Theater is safe. All right, so before we add in any extra, what we're looking at right now from these buildings that I'm showing will be removed is we're looking at basically 185,000 square feet, give or take. Could be a little bit off, could be more, could be a little bit less. The ballpark, a nice easy number to wrap your brain around, would be 185,000 square feet. How much is that? Well, I'm so glad you asked. But before I explain that, how about we just add on another 90,000 square feet, which would be if they took about half of the bus transportation hub. And let me explain to you my perimeter, because it's a very realistic perimeter. I'm going with the edge of what they're removing. I'm not going beyond that. I'm staying aligned with where the edge of the theme park would be. And basically taking a little bit less than half, so there's room for the bridge to come down, the new walkway, and the new transition.
Okay, so real quick, I wanted to stop it.
Mhm.
So we saw that Ricky's talking about an additional 90,000 square feet.
Mhm.
And then obviously you could see the concept art like you were mentioning earlier. So does this concept art kind of match on what he's talking about, or
That
do you?
does match what he is saying, because what he's saying is it's the half of the bus load unload area where it doesn't surpass the walking path where it's actually showing.
Got it.
So basically that 90,000 extra 90,000 square foot, that's where Pandora's ass would be.
That and the backstage road.
See, and that's the other thing too they have to consider too, is you have to have backstage area. So even though that you're incorporating that into the land, you still have to have backstage area that's not part of guest operation, but for cast member operation.
Yeah, so if you incorporate what he was talking about, I think he said 285,000 square feet plus. Okay, so let's do the math.
It was 185,000 square feet plus 90.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was 200. Okay, so 185,000. Let me do this. Plus 90,000 equals 275,000 square feet.
Okay.
Okay. So the service road, whatever that might be, that's going to take up room. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to go out on a whim and say 20,000 square feet will be taken up by the service road. So let's minus that. And again, that's not accurate. That's just me talking. So we're at 255,000 square feet. And then let's add a water treatment facility, which they'll need for the water attraction. Let's say that's another, I don't know, 40,000 square feet, because I'm sure it's not going to be a small building whatsoever. So let's minus that. And again, I could be completely wrong on this, but it leaves us with 215,000 square feet if we measure it like that. Do you think that's enough room?
I'm
As a
trying
rough
to see.
estimate.
I'm trying to see like what that would converge into acres.
Okay, yeah. So do 15,000 square feet.
Okay, 215.
Because I'm curious.
Of what it's showing me, it's little under. It's saying 4.936. So just a little under
5 acres.
5 acres. And I think honestly, the one in Pandora is about 9, but with the backstage area, I thought it was about 11. I could be wrong. I thought Pandora in Animal Kingdom was like 8 or 9 acres.
And do you see everybody where we're having an issue trying to see this? Do you see what type of logistical nightmare?
Wait, just for my own satisfaction, I just want to see how big it is. Pandora in Animal.
And I do agree with John Make It Rain. I do like all the trees and the concept art.
I do too. Like I love that. They need to keep that.
I think this, but also in the Avatar art he was talking about as well.
Oh, that, and we'll see how they do that as well.
John Make It Rain also says the backstage rows on the east side of DCA are extensively large. They are. See, that's another problem.
Okay, so Remy D says based on the Google Maps, Pandora seems to be 7.5 to 8 acres, and that's at Animal Kingdom. Remy D.
I'm almost certain it is. But you see where we're having issues with this? Do you see that? And again, my calculations are probably 100% wrong, but they have like 2 of them back to back for some reason. And yeah.
So that was about right. So yeah, it was about, I think it was about 8 acres, and then I think with the backstage area, it was about like 10 or 11 acres if you included the backstage area.
Jeez Louises, but wow.
So I'm not being greedy. I'm not taking it off.
If it calculated to the amount that you did when you removed the backstage area within the perimeter for the people, it's just under 5 acres.
Jeez Louises. This shall get very interesting. I will say.
Remy D says it's 8 acres with the backstage.
Wow.
Okay.
But still, we're losing 3 acres. Again,
right.
my calculations are 100% wrong. I was just given a rough estimate, but even if we had 6 acres, that's still 2 acres less.
See, this is what I'm trying to figure out. When you look at the footprint of where the monorail track goes, and they say you can hide it with rock formation. I thought that was the area where you're going to have the big open water.
Yeah.
That the boats are going to be. So where is that? That's where I'm not seeing where everything is. I'm seeing exactly what Bricky is showing us, the removal of everything.
Yeah.
Now my question is, where do you start putting in?
Yes.
So where does the big waterway go? Where does the giant onion butthole go? Where does where is everything going to be placed?
Exactly my point. So again, questions that can't be answered, at least not yet.
Just taking 90,000 square feet. So now our total is 275,000 square feet. This is a very important number. And once I did the math, I was like, oh, I know it could be a little bit bigger. It could be a little bit smaller, but that gets us into a very, very safe zone for some things that we can compare this to. Because right now in its current shape, it's kind of hard to envision what could happen next. And when you start pretending that buildings are disappearing, that gets even more abstract. So let's go to some real world case studies and build out what actually fits in here. Not hypothetical, what actually would fit. You ready? Because I'm juiced on this one. This video is brought to you by the letter V. And what does the letter V stand for? Well, it stands for vibes. That's right. Vibes Override shirt, back in stock, heybricky.com, limited time. Grab one today. Hasn't been available for a year. Don't know when it'll be back. So if you want to show everyone that you celebrate the vibes over the rides, grab your own Bricky blouse today. And you know why they're taking out this part of the park? Because it has no vibe. But the vibes will show up when you show up with your beautiful Bricky blouse. Available at heybricky.com for a limited time. Grab one today. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And thank you so much for supporting the vibes. So first off,
I will say real quick, he is right on that. This section of the park has no vibes.
Oh, yeah. I think here's the thing with me. I think anything they do with this would be much better than what it is now. I'll say 100%. That. But when you're doing something that's as grand as Pandora, because we already seen what they could do with Pandora down at Animal Kingdom, I would hate for them to kind of half-ass this and Mickey Mouse it, no pun intended, just to get something in there and call it a day and be done with it.
100%. No, I agree.
That translates into
Bobby Lakes asks, and welcome in, Bobby Lakes. Does anyone know how the backlot area compares to the Shanghai Pirates Land? Ooh,
that's an interesting question. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, that's a good question, though, because if they're gonna, now again, it's not gonna be the same footprint as the Shanghai Pirates, but it would have to be somewhat of that caliber if they're going to use that same ride system.
Let's see. Hold on, because now I got curious. Thank you, Bobby Lake, for that comment. I deeply appreciate it. But let's take a look. Give me 1 second here, guys. Okay, I might screw this completely up, but bear with me. I'm going to get rid of this video temporarily and showcase this. Here we go. Now I got to find, here we go. There is Pirates right here. That's Pirates right there.
Okay, so the longer rectangle building, I'm assuming that's the actual show building. And then the square is basically like the facade and the queue and everything. Like, I guess where people are like lining up for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is. But that's what we're looking at. Now, I have no clue what this is over here. I have no clue what that is. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is somewhere over here. I think that Seven Dwarfs Mine... Jesus, that is a big attraction. God. Okay. Well, I could tell you right now, this is interesting. Because, really, you can't... I don't know. You can't really expand this area. Sorry to say it. So I think the queue is somewhere over here, I think. And then maybe this front part is probably...
Okay. Listen, this is coming from Disney Geek as part of the Shanghai Disney Resort Guide. The largest attraction facility in Shanghai Disneyland is Pirates of the Caribbean Battle for the Sunken Treasure at 16,340 square meters or 4 acres. The building itself is 4 acres.
So even if Pandora and DCA is 6 acres, you don't have much room for anything else besides maybe a quick service location and a merch shop.
Look at the surrounding land surrounding that building. There's all breathable room with it. It's not being secluded, tucked away in a little compartment area.
Yeah, and if they had to reroute this road, they could easily do that and expand it this way if they had to, which I guarantee that they
But
won't.
the thing was, they built this ride with the park, so they could have maneuvered everything while they were building the park. The area for the Hollywood land in the back lot had already existed. So now they have to, not saying that they can't do it. It's not that I don't have faith in Disney. It's just I don't even see where the transition off of Buena Vista Street is going to run into Avatar.
Yeah. And again, that's what concerns me when it comes to something like that. And again, I want it.
And I'm gonna bring this up too, because I know OG mentions this all the time, and I do agree with him in that sense, where he says, well, you have the Matterhorn, the subs, Autopia, with the monorail, kind of all like they had the motorboat cruise area. It's not there anymore, but it all was coexistent within Tomorrowland leading into Fantasyland with the Skyway and everything. And I get that. But the difference was these were all real world things, like where you have a toboggan bobsled, you have a submarine, you have motorized cars.
Sure.
This is a fictional, out of worldly planet that's part of cinema that is supposed to transport you into another world. I'm not seeing that transition of how well that would look
100%.
coming off of Buena Vista Street in California.
Basically, our transition is basically what Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios in Orlando is going to be.
That's my worry.
Yep. And again, I hope Disney can figure out the transitions. I hope Disney has a better plan than what they currently have. I hope with this land. I hope, you know, obviously one attraction's coming. I would love to have seen 2 attractions. Personally, for me, PhilharMagic, do I think it's worth staying? No, but they're going to keep it. But more to the point, the Hyperion doing nothing. Do I think it's worth?
Now, here's another thing I have to ask, because Bricky mentioned Schmoozies, that
Yes.
Schmoozies could be going. But here's the thing: Schmoozies is very popular.
I don't
And
think
they-
it's going.
Huh?
I don't think it's going.
You don't think it's going? I
No.
can't foresee it going, because they also utilize that for special seasonal things,
Yes.
for Christmas, for Halloween, when they have Oogie Boogie. Now, that's another thing, too. The parade route for Oogie Boogie, what the hell are they going to do? Have a bunch of villains coming down the line as people are trying to enter in Pandora? I'm not understanding the narrative.
Yeah, but again, I hope Disney does well with this. But if it backfires, I'm telling you right now, me and George, but at least for me, I will go online and do a live and do a rant so loud, so obnoxious, it will be ridiculous, because I will call them out and say, this is what you all hope for, and now you all hate it, and now it's permanent.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
relocated.
Here's the thing: if people start going online and complaining, saying, "Oh my God, how could Disney do this? What did they do to it? Oh my God, this looks horrible. They just threw it in there." Well, what can you expect?
Yep. And I hope that's not the case, but if it is,
I hope not either. I want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong. I don't want to be right. But what also disturbs me about it is Disney has yet to still call this a land. They've
100%.
called it an experience. They've called it a destination. They have yet to call this a land.
100%.
Over 6 acres of expansion. And what would fit inside of that 6 acres comfortably would be Pandora and Animal Kingdom. Because the entire shape, as I measured it, is about 240,000 square feet. If our space is 275, that means there'd be room for Animal Kingdom's Pandora, as well as 30,000 square feet for backstage. That is very, very realistic. It's happening again! What the hell's going on? Why is it coming through here like a bat out of hell and jacking on the brakes? And why am I standing underneath it? Now, I'm in no way saying they're going to clone that version of Pandora. What I am saying is that makes 2 attractions feasible. They have a small boat ride and a simulator attraction. So maybe it would indeed only be 1 attraction here, but 1 mega attraction. But what's more important to me than the actual ride?
Sorry, Bricky, I would keep on interrupting you, but hey, this is how it goes. Here's where... Okay, I agree with what the facts that Bricky is showing us that of how it would fit inside. Hey, what's up, Rick? Good to see you. Welcome in. Here's my concern with that about him mentioning about 2 attractions, because I know that's your concern. You want to see 2 attractions. The problem with it is there are 2 attractions in Pandora. And what Bricky is saying, if they could fit the whole Pandora in that area, that leaves room for 2 rides. True, but the thing is, with Pandora and Animal Kingdom, it's one big massive show building that both attractions are sharing, and everything is indoors.
True.
The land that they are presenting to us is going to have a big open water area. We don't have that down in Animal Kingdom. So that's a completely different footprint. And I just think that alone is going to take up so much room for them to possibly do a second attraction. And if they do a second attraction, I dare I say it, it's probably going to be something as simple as I hate to say it, a spinner ride.
And no one wants that. I can tell you that right now. I think before we play the last 2 minutes of this video, I personally, even if Disney comes out at D23 and gives more detail, I think what's going to be the truth point is when they build the walking path bridge over Harbor Boulevard coming from the Eastern Gateway, and it lands in the bus load and unload area. At that point, we will know how big Avatar is going to be. We will know at that point. Until they build that bridge, we can only speculate, because where that bridge is exactly butt up against where they're going to have the service road for behind Avatar B, or at least close to B, because obviously you have to have a walking path next to the bridge for people that are coming from Harbor and not coming from the Eastern Gateway. So there's that limitation as well. So there's other factors in play. It's not just one thing, it's multiple things.
Is, of course, the vibes, because I do believe there will be enough space to make it a fully transitional Pandora with all of the different little details that it needs to feel like its own thought process. So think about the park now. You have over on one side Grizzly Peak, which feels very grounded in nature. And then on the other side of the park, you would have Pandora, which would be a body of water. And again, feel grounded in nature. This would make the park actually feel quite balanced, that it has a couple of different locations that take you into more of a outdoor environment. And then if we also throw in the beautiful Cadillac Range at the edge of Cars Land, now this park does kind of go from urban landscapes to great outdoor vistas. I think that this actually does add a lot of rhythm and balance to a park that right now feels like it doesn't know what its identity is, and also feels at times a little lopsided. Maybe this was the missing piece all along? Who knew? So that would definitely put in play something I think really big and a lot of optimism for what could happen here. And starting next year is when these permits are going to roll in. But starting this year, as I did in my last Disneyland Forward update video, I talked about how the building that sits in between the area where the new parking garage is going to go is scheduled to possibly get evacuated the middle of the summer, which means if that building goes down and they start that parking garage over there, that's going to get all of this going even faster. And what we're seeing Disney do is get that project started so they can start this project. But where it gets even...
That's great. They demolished the building sometime in the summer. Shouldn't that have already been done? Like, what more are we waiting for to start getting a parking structure up?
Yep, because you're talking about 2.5 years, close to 3 years for that damn thing.
Like, okay, so if that's the case, and Bricky's statement is correct, and they say summer, okay, when in summer? Is it the beginning of summer in June? Is it the middle of summer of July? Is it the late summer of August? Like, and that's just demolishing. That's not even clearing anything out and then starting to build vertically.
Yep. So there's issues all over the place. So I couldn't even tell you if I tried.
Better is, why would they do all of this? Because they already have the Toy Story parking lot and it works just fine. But once you take out the buses and the drop off, you don't need the Toy Story parking lot, especially when you have the brand new garage. So I really think whatever we see happen here and open up probably in the beginning of the 30s, maybe 31, 32, 33, somewhere in there, that will probably kick off what's going to happen over at Toy Story, because it will be completely redundant. And just as it sits today, without acquiring any new land, it's about the size of DCA. So if they get the Garden Walk or 1 or 2 hotels to go, you now have a third gate that's even bigger than DCA, and potentially, if they got everything around there, could be bigger than Disneyland. So these 9 buildings are 9 steps in the right direction for everything that's going to happen next. Of course, got to see your comments below and see what you think about all of this. Am I getting it wrong? Am I getting it right? Are you excited about this? And most importantly, does getting the hard measurement change your mind on what is actually happening in the Hollywood backlot and what that could mean for the future of DCA and the Disneyland Resort?
So I want to give a big shout out to Bricky and his secondary channel, Bricky Vlogs, for this amazing video. But I do have to say, like me and Hollow Gelato were explaining during his video, I have my concerns still. Mm-hmm. And again, I understand Disney said it's going here. That was 2 years ago. Then at DCA 25th anniversary, Hollow Gelato was boots on the ground at the presentation alongside Disney Drew Dude. That came out for the event for media, which was a separate event, and Disneyland officials, including at the time Tom Maslum was the Disneyland president before he got promoted, said no, Avatar's happening. But again, the one person that should be saying something about this and just giving us further reassurance that it's happening is keeping quiet. And I'm meaning tomorrow. The one person that we thought, okay, he's a social guy. He loves being in the spotlight. He loves talking to people, cast members, guests. He even said so himself. If he's not dealing with stuff at Burbank, he's in the parks. He's talking to people. He's communicating. He's showing his face. He's getting himself out there. You know, and I understand, you know, they probably want to save it for D23. That's fine. But as simple as a post to sit there and assure people that it's still happening and further details are coming at D23, which is literally what, 3.5 months.
Just it, though. That's what they did say at DCA's 25th anniversary. But to me, that's not enough. And I know that because it's not enough, anything more that they say is going to spoil for D23. I think now, if all this debate and debacle came last year, I think Disney might have said an earlier statement. But the fact that we are months away from D23, they're holding out just a little longer.
100%.
I did want to mention too. That's what I was going to say. So, this coming Wednesday, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday, May 6th, is going to be the quarterly earnings call. I doubt that they'll make any kind of announcement of it, but hey, you never know. I've heard strange.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just gotta look at some real quick.
Yep.
Keep going.
I mean, we've heard surprises mentioned at both the quarterly earnings and the shareholders. So it may be something, it may be nothing, but one way or the other, I will be doing a live. It is going to be very early in the morning. But I've done it a couple times now with the earnings call and the shareholders meeting. So yeah, so I will be doing that on May 6th. I have to relook at the time. I think it's at 5 or 5:30 Pacific time. I will double check on that, and I'll do a community post on that. But
and I'm glad you make that, because actually my schedule works with me, so I will be able to join you for that if you would like an audience.
Absolutely, you're
Perfect.
very, very welcome to join, because you did the last couple times, so might
as well. But I'm very curious what's going to be said during that call. So hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed, we get something, or maybe nothing. Who knows? But yeah, it's very. Again, this is not like the Tomorrowland. Like if we were getting a new Tomorrowland, there wouldn't be all this like confusion and all this chaos and arguments over online. People would say, give me a hard hat, I want to rip something down right now. Give me a hammer, give me a sledgehammer, give me something. I want to go destroy one of the buildings, give me something. But this, seeing how beautiful Avatar is in Animal Kingdom, seeing how detail oriented the movies are with James Cameron, you could see why me and George from Hollow Gelato are very passionate about this land and this IP, and how we have serious reservations about it trying to fit and being crammed into the spot.
Exactly. And by all means, trust me, I don't want what is there right now. I want it to go. They need something refreshed and new and different. I just want them to do to the most of their experiences of what they know, with their knowledge, that they can give us something spectacular. Now, before you move over, because I know we're transitioning over, there's one more topic I did want to talk about that you actually added into your notes. We talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to just dive into it just a little bit more in depth, and that is the Disney Believe cruise ship details.
Yes.
So I personally think, and this doesn't have to be a long segment, I just want to say, I think when it comes to the Believe, because we mentioned it when we were talking about the Lakeside Lodge and everything, that I think at D23 we're probably going to get the time frame of when bookings will be available and the date that it sells out. DCL Duo believes that more of the interior of the ship, the statue, the character on the back of the ship, the restaurants, the entertainment, the live shows will come later on. But they think that it's going to be more of the booking side and the actual sale dates.
Interesting. Yeah, and I could see that. I could definitely see it. So I hope we get some news on that, because, again, not to beat a dead horse, but we get more vague details about Avatar or nothing at all. I need something to prop me up, and that definitely will do it. I can promise you that. John Make It Rain, and I'm sorry I'm reading this comment late. He said, I'd be okay with a little dark ride where we get to ride an animal and a big water ride. So kind of like riding a Banshee as a dark ride. I could see that.
That would be cool. I mean,
maybe a Pinocchio or Mr. Toad's type ride.
I mean, I would be okay with something like, maybe not exactly like Flight of Passage, but something like it. So that way you have like a air or land kind of like counteracting with the water element.
100%. But we're going to jump across just briefly to the East Coast. This is Islands of Adventure. I have to say, if Epic Universe didn't exist, this is my favorite park. I know everyone kind of has their reservations about it. I love Islands of Adventure, especially walking through the entrance gates, and then you're stuck between a fork in the road. Either go right towards Seuss Landing, go left towards Superhero Marvel Island, or go straight and look at that beautiful body of water with the 1993 Jurassic Park theming alongside with Velocicoaster. One of the best views I've ever seen at a theme park. Beautiful. But this is from Bio Reconstruct, and this is actually in the Lost Continent area or adjacent to it. I think this was the old Sinbad location, if I'm correct.
This actually, this building might be Poseidon's Fury.
Oh, it might be. Ooh, okay.
I'm trying to. Yeah, because is that the end? Wait, maybe that is the theater.
I think it is the theater.
Yeah, that might be the theater.
Because Poseidon's Fury.
Yeah. I think it might be the theater. Poseidon's Fury's, I think, a little bit further
to the left. Yeah, because there's Mythos up there in the top left. So
there's Poseidon's Fury. There's Poseidon.
So let me ask you about this, because again, this is going to be a brief subject. Are you nervous about this project?
I am very nervous about this project.
Okay. So if you want to go into detail for us, that'd be great.
The only reason why that I'm nervous about this project is that Q go back or go forward. I guess it was closer to the end. Okay, right there. The only reason why I'm nervous about this project is that little area over to the right there. Yep. And that's a little building called Mythos. And if anyone who has been to Universal Orlando or Islands of Adventure or Lost Continent or all the above, and if you have been to Mythos, you will know what I am talking about. It is, for me, one of the best sit-down restaurants in any theme park. The theming, the wait staff, the menu, everything is done like impeccable service. And when they actually have the sign sitting out that's on the building that it says, I think it won countless awards for 10 years in a row. I mean, that's saying something. And my concern is that when you get rid of the entire land of Lost Continent, which again, I get it. It's outdated. They have Sinbad closed on. They have Poseidon's Fury closed on. There's nothing they can do with it. They want to put something new and fresh in there. I get it. I'm all for it. But I'm not for getting rid of Mythos. Now, the one saving grace is the location of Mythos, that it's kind of off into the water.
Yeah.
And maybe if they kind of leave that part go and take out everything else, go for it.
100%. Because if you look at the beginning of this, that theater building is humongous. That footprint is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Poseidon's Fury, another beautiful aesthetic, like indoor building that sadly has to go away. They could fit a mini land.
Can you pause it real quick?
Hold on. Sorry. My bad. Hold on. I just had it. Give me 1 second. Okay, right.
Can you go back just a little bit more? Just a little bit more so it has a little bit more of the... Okay, maybe not. Maybe right there is fine. It's perfect. Yeah, so if the Sinbad theater is huge, look how big Poseidon's Fury building is.
Yes.
Like, you take out both those buildings and clear out everything for it. As I said, you could take all that out. Just don't touch Mythos. That like
Exactly.
Mythos can just play it by itself. Like that could have nothing, no connection to anything. Just leave Mythos as Mythos.
100%. So you have the arm right here. You have Poseidon's Fury all right here. You have the theater over here with some aesthetic buildings. They can literally, from this building right here, this turret, all the way across to the arm, and everything coming, like, if you see my hand going this way, can annex. And if they want to build Pokemon there, this is a big footprint to build that. Like, I didn't even realize until now. And what a godsend BioReconstruct has been for all of us on the YouTube platforms and social media, just in
while
general.
we are boots on the ground, he is boots in the air.
Exactly. But this is a massive, massive.
Do you think that's what's going there? Do you think it's Pokemon?
I don't want it to go there, but if they want to put it there, I could see it happen.
Two-part question. You said you didn't want Pokemon there. Do you want Pokemon somewhere else? Or do you not want Pokemon at all?
No, I want Pokemon. Because I don't think they're going to throw in an Epic Universe. That's not happening. Because they're going to build Zelda. That's happening. I think because really the Universal Studios Florida, so the Studios Park doesn't have room. So
and honestly, I don't see Pokemon fitting in the studios. I would put it in Islands before the studios.
Yeah, so Islands, and it kind of works out a little bit better because literally off screen here, so this is Poseidon's Fury, but off screen more to the left, you have Seuss Landing, which is that kind of cartoon IP based off Dr. Seuss. So Pokemon would fit right into that.
But where else would you want it to go other than this?
Well, after walking Islands of Adventure, there is no other spot. This would be the spot.
Okay. So if not Pokemon, what else would you see going here?
Oh God. That is an excellent question. I'm being serious. That is an excellent question.
Because it wouldn't be Zelda. Zelda would be going in Epic, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of an IP that would fit. God, that is extremely difficult. Oh man. I can't think of any because obviously you're not going to expand Harry Potter. That would be ridiculous.
But I don't want them to. That's too much Potter for me.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. They're not going to expand Jurassic Park, obviously. So, and they're not going to expand Dr. Seuss. So, what in God's name would you put there? Trying to think what a Universal IP could be placed there that would make sense. God, that is really tough.
Yeah, because right now that's really where I could only see Pokemon going.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's Pokemon or question marks.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I don't.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, they may have something coming out of left field that we're not thinking about. Well,
what do you think?
I mean, One Piece is doing bangers at FanFest.
Yeah, that would be an anime property. But see, they have to come to an agreement with...
They would have to come to an agreement to have something implemented permanent in the theme park. It's not just like a contractual, temporary, limited thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that they have to make a deal with not only the creators of One Piece, but also I can't even speak.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well, that, but also the Japan, government, because remember something, and I'm probably speaking out of my, but from what I understand, the reason why we haven't seen Pokemon here in the domestic parks is because they have an agreement that anything like that has to debut first at the Asia parks, meaning Universal Japan, Universal Singapore, before it comes to the domestic park. So maybe that's why.
I mean, that is true, but yeah, that's like no matter which way they go, whether it's Pokemon or One Piece or
So
yeah, it have to come from the Japanese government.
yeah, exactly. So Park Explorer Adventure says the Kid Larkus game could work, but it's not likely the game would get something in the theme park. And then Remy D said, I really hope not Pokemon. Pokemon should replace Simpsons. I really hope it's a non-IP land themed to the Greek gods. That would be cool.
Well, here's the thing with that, Remedy. I'm all for that because if Universal wanted to go the route that Disney is not going and they did a non-IP and it would be based off of the Greek gods, that's where it would definitely save Mythos.
100%.
So I'm all for that.
But see, let me ask you this though, because it almost seems like with Mythos, with the theater, and then Lost Continent, it was already themed to that, and it didn't work. So would they really?
I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, yeah, because Poseidon of the Greek gods, yeah. I guess, yeah. So it wouldn't be that. Because they would be taking it out to re-put it back in.
Yeah, I wish it was the case.
I wish so too.
I don't know of a Universal IP that I could possibly think of.
Now Bobby Lake says I think Zelda for IOA would be good.
Yeah, you could do that. Okay, hear me out though. You could do that. The only issue I have is they're talking about, not confirmed, they're talking about expanding Dark Universe. But when me and George and Tommy and Abby were there, Dark Universe did not seem as busy as it should be. So expanding that section of Epic Universe, basically they have a small footprint because the land expansion actually shares, if I'm not mistaken, George, please correct me if I'm wrong, it shares with Nintendo, where Nintendo was probably going to put Zelda and is probably planning to put Zelda. And when you have something like Universal Monsters based off Dark Universe and it's not getting the numbers it should, you know, are you going to expand Dark Universe, or are you going to put Zelda that you know is going to print money?
Unless they don't expand Dark Universe, but they put something else for Nintendo, but it's not Zelda.
That would be interesting.
Not saying that they wouldn't do Zelda if Zelda would be going here, because they already kind of have the architecture that would fit the Zelda realm here.
Yeah.
Then really quick, so Park Explorers Adventure says One Piece area would be so awesome. I mean, even if they did decide to do One Piece, I was actually thinking they could replace Toon Lagoon with One Piece, because you already have that kind of color palette. It's kind of bright. It's kind of whimsical, cartoony because of the anime. And both rides there are water-based attractions. True. So One Piece is all about water. And Remy D, to your statement, I don't think One Piece is that popular with the general public as big as it is in nerd culture. I actually thought that too, but after going to FanFest for the last 2 years, and I got, maybe that is part of the nerd culture, I don't know, but when they were packing in the Waterworld area to see the One Piece show, you thought people were lining up to see the Beatles. Exactly. I mean, this show, they actually added an extra show at 1 a.m.
because it's so popular.
Because of the demand that they can't fit. The whole outdoor amphitheater was completely packed. People were ready to start standing because it started overflowing for One Piece, and like people were cheering. They were like, and these were people just coming for Fan Fest. Yeah. So I honestly, and here's the thing, as I said, I will eat the crow. I was right there. I said, good friend of mine, Lucas Kim, said, why don't they put One Piece in the theme parks? And I'm thinking, like, what is One Piece? Like, I don't, and he told me it's anime, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that would go well in the theme park. And then lo and behold, Universal brings it to FanFest last year, and then they bring it again this year on a grander scale. And I'm like, okay, now I could actually see it. I get it.
100%. So
and then, oh, sorry. And then one last thing. And then Parks Explorer Adventure also said in the Kid Icarus game, it does have gods in the game.
It does. So there could be many IPs that could go into this footprint. But my thing is, if it's going to be off of a Greek god type situation, they're, like you said, they're basically ripping down buildings to basically put back what was there originally, but just an updated, upscaled version of it. And is that going to work?
Yeah.
That's my only thing. Now, I could see Bobby's point. Putting Zelda in here would work. I think it would work beautifully, but then is that it for Super Nintendo World at Epic Universe? They have Super Nintendo World and they have Donkey Kong, and that's it.
Unless they actually put Pokemon in Epic Universe.
Which is possible, but does Pokemon really affiliate really well with Super Nintendo, like Mario and all that, or does Zelda fit better and Pokemon fits better over here?
I mean, I think either way that you roll the dice, I think it would be fine because Pokemon and Zelda represent in Super Smash Brothers.
That's true.
So I think it would kind of go either way. Now, I do know, I think it was it Remy D that mentioned Pokemon in the studio? Oh, yeah. So Remy D said Pokemon should replace The Simpsons. The only thing, and I have heard that that's what they could possibly be doing. My only thing is, I just don't know how Pokemon would look in the aesthetics surrounding everything else. But then again, like, so does The Simpsons. So it's like, I guess. But I just feel like that Pokemon deserves a little bit more better love than just throwing it in the Simpsons area. Yeah. But they're going to have to figure out what is going to go in the Simpsons area because they only have less than 2 years before the contract is up.
Yeah, and that's another issue on top of other issue. Again, this is a much funner conversation than trying to figure out how we're going to ram Avatar into the Hollywood backlot and getting frustrated over it.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because Universal has yet told us what's going in here. So we're okay with that. But when Disney gives us a project of what's going in there, and we're not hearing anything about it for 3 years,
true.
And that's where it gets a little frustrating. I'm sorry. It is just what it is. John Make It Rain asks, has there always been a show at this place or did it used to be a ride? So there used to be 4 attractions, John. Wow. Before they added Wizarding World, the Lost Continent used to have the Sinbad Stunt Show, which is the building right you see in front of you, and then the Poseidon's Fury, which is that massive show building right there. That's a walkthrough attraction. And then right at the corner that was northeast, you could start to see where Wizarding World is. They used to have the Dueling Dragons roller coaster, which then got replaced with Hagrid's that became part of Wizarding World. And then the Flying Unicorn, which is now the Flight of the Hippogriff. So there used to be 4 attractions, 2 rides, 4 attractions altogether, 2 rides, 2 roller coasters, a walkthrough attraction, and a stunt show.
Crazy.
So there was Lost Continent plus Mythos. So Lost Continent was packing when it first opened with islands.
Yeah. That's insane. John Make It Rain says maybe they could do an aquarium ride.
Aquaman.
Aquaman. I'm sorry.
Aquaman. I mean, if Disney acquires DC, I mean, not Disney, sorry, if Universal acquires DC, I mean, they could extend it into the Super Mario. God, I cannot talk. Super Mario, not Mario. I guess if they wanted to do that, if they wanted to keep like a water based theme, because actually Poseidon's Fury had a lot to do with water, believe it or not.
True. No, very true. So I again, it's something we gotta look at. Again, keep a close eye on it. I do love, and I will kind of tie the knot on this, at least for me, is I love that Universal does not get ahead of the game and is not obligated to have a convention every 2 years and sit there and announce new stuff and fall further and further and further behind on projects that they announced 6 years prior or 4 years or three and a half years or whatever justification there is.
And here's my thing. I'm okay with them doing D23, the Ultimate Fan event, every 2 years. But they don't have to make big park announcements every 2 years and let us stew in it and wait. I think from them doing that from the very beginning, it landlocked Disney to have that obligation to the fandom to give us that every 2 years. But in the long run, it's irritating us because we're not getting anything out of it. We're getting the announcement, which is great, but I want to start seeing movement. I want to start seeing, and not saying that Florida isn't. Trust me, Florida is moving big time with all their projects. Tropical Americas, Monsters Inc., Piston Peak, Villains, the Lakeside Lodge. I mean, everything is moving. So I'm not really saying Walt Disney World. When I say Disney, I really mean Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've talked about it. The Universal or the Orlando theme park market is a lot different with the red tape than they are out here in Southern California. I'm being serious. And this is like a broader conversation because when you look at filming, how many productions and whatnot are moving out of California and Hollywood to film in other states or even out of the country because it's a cheaper, option. And California, especially the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, is going on her little podium in front of news cameras and saying, "Oh, we'll give you a special incentive," and she's basically almost getting on her hands and knees begging these companies.
And that's pretty bad. And that's pretty bad that you're now enticing these studios to say, "Hey, we'll give you a tax cut or a tax break off these films if you make them here." Because I think it's happening for the Phineas and Ferb movie that's going to be made here because they're getting the tax break. And actually, I think the Simpsons movie, the sequel, is also getting it.
100%. But how does this tie into the theme parks? It ties in this way. Like Hollow Gelato mentioned, you look at the Florida projects that were announced 2 years ago at the same D23 event. All those projects have been moving forward. Dirt, construction, vertical construction, demolition, all that stuff. What are we getting here at Disneyland? Yeah, announcements, but that's as far as it gets. And permits, that's as far as it gets. I'm sorry. You know what? 2 years, they could have had a quarter of the parking structure already done, if not halfway done.
Yeah, that one, I'm really surprised with the parking.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to call it how I see it. I don't care if it was 2.5 years ago or even 3 years ago. That parking structure, I'm sorry, that is non-guest areas. That is in cast member areas. They could have easily started construction on it when Disneyland Forward got approved, and the city of Anaheim told Disney, "Yes, you can build this parking structure," and that was 2.5 years ago. I'm sorry. I'm done making excuses for the Disneyland Resort. It's either put up or shut up. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm sorry. You know, when we're paying all these astronomical prices, especially for the D23 event, which I'm blessed to be going to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. And I'm in the Honda Center with 29,999 other people. And I'm sitting there watching Disney officials get on stage and say, yep, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. And 2.5 years later, we're not seeing jack squat. I'm sorry, you can't convince me that a simple, massive parking structure that's not in guest area is taking this damn long to even get off the ground. Sorry,
that's why this D23, I won't be upset if they don't give us. We may get a few surprises, but I want to hear what is currently happening with the projects they're already working on.
Yes.
That's what I want to hear. If we keep on getting new project, big announcement, okay, that's nice, but like, what the hell's going on with the projects they're already working on? Like, you're backing up your catalog like a bowel movement.
100%. And I wanted to speak to the people that commented on me and Orange Grove 55's video about the Bricky review that we just watched here on Conductor Sunday live stream with Hollow Gelato. You know, a couple people or one person individually, I don't know, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but they said, well, Disney does not have to babysit people like boyfriend, girlfriend, and keep everyone updated. I respectfully disagree. When you're sitting there announcing stuff at an event that's harder and bejesus to get into, and you're making people sit in the Honda Center and listen to you talk about, you know, new things coming to the resort, and we can't even get off the point of building a parking structure in a cast member only area. Sorry, Disney needs to be more. They need to be further clarified, especially with the Avatar project. I'm sorry, but when you give us one piece of concept art, you give us a half-done model that we saw from Hollow Gelato and Orange Grove 55 and so many others on the showroom floor 2 years ago.
Well, that wasn't even half. I don't even know what that was. That wasn't even like,
exactly.
I don't know what you would call that. I don't think I've ever seen any kind of model come out from Disney like that before.
Yeah. When we're seeing stuff like that, I'm sorry for the people that commented on that video I did with Orange Grove 55. And again, I want to make this very clear. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I'm sorry, when Disney's charging the money that they're charging for the Anaheim resort compared to Walt Disney World, which gives me what, 20 different and George, please correct me if I'm wrong, 20 different or at least 20 different hotel
35.
Oh, okay. Excuse my French. 35 hotel destinations. Okay. 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and their top tier pass with taxes is $1,700. And 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago, they announced all the same projects they announced for Disneyland, also for Walt Disney World, and Walt Disney World is turbocharging and moving so damn fast on their projects, and we can't even get started with one of ours here at Anaheim, and you expect me to be calm and say, oh, well, Disney's getting to it. Oh, well, Disney doesn't have to be transparent. No, Disney needs to be 100% transparent, and it makes them look bad.
If you're going to announce it.
Exactly.
If you're going to announce it. If you're not going to announce it and you're going to go this route of what we're looking at with Universal,
fine,
and they're just clearing the land and they know what they're doing, but they're not going to tell us and they haven't made any announcement, then we can't say, oh, well, Universal needs to update us. That's where they don't have to, because they had no intention of us knowing until they're ready for us to know. That's just like if I was to, that's like, and I know this is going to sound kind of bad. You know, when a guy proposes to a woman, that you're dedicating yourself, that you're going to get married.
Sure.
But you're going to stay engaged for 5 to 6 years, which is fine. Abby and I, are taking a few years before we get married, but here's the difference. We have a date locked.
Yeah.
When you're engaged for 5 to 6 years, but you made it known, hey, I'm getting down on my knee and I'm going to propose to you, and we're going to be engaged for 5 to 6 years, but you don't have a plan set, you don't have a date set, that starts making the woman think, okay, are we ever going to get married? kind of thing.
Exactly. And Remy D says, just back to Lost Continent, I got to eat at Mythos for the first time ever. I was pleasantly surprised. Got the octopus, burger, which I got. Thank you very much. And the pad thai. Remy, I'm so blessed and happy that you got to eat there.
I'm so glad. And I told you, man, that char grilled octopus.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. But back to our rant. No, but I'm sorry, but to kind of close this out, because again, I can ramble on forever. I'm gonna be honest with you folks. When I'm seeing movement at Walt Disney World and Disneyland is not moving, sorry, I'm gonna call it how I see it. Kettle black or not, I don't care. Everyone, like I said, entitled to their own opinion. I respect that. But you can't tell me that cramming Avatar in the Hollywood backlot is a wonderful idea because Disney said so. You can't tell me that not having Zootopia, which probably would fit a hell of a lot better in the Hollywood backlot, is not a good idea. You can't tell me 2 years ago that when the Eastern Gateway was brought back from the shelf and dusted off and was going to start construction, and they yet to this very day here, May the 3rd, as of this live stream, 2026, and still have not moved forward with the parking structure. You can't tell me to keep making excuses for the Disneyland Resort when I'm not seeing no action. The only action I'm seeing right now that was announced at D23 is the new Porto's restaurant and the new Earl Sandwich / Gordon Ramsay Carnaby. Because the other epic failure to part of the announcements that was at D23 and Disney Resort officials was that we were going to lose Tortilla Joe's to get the steakhouse, Arthur's, and get a barbecue restaurant that still has not moved. So sorry, I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm done making excuses for Disney. Put up or shut up. Maybe they need to follow the guidelines of Universal and stop announcing crap if they're not ready to do so.
Yeah, announce it only when you're ready to go full steam ahead.
Please, because right now, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was someone like some of these other vloggers that me and Hollow Gelato are dear friends with and have met through hanging out in the parks, talking to them on social media and stuff, and the fact that they go to the Orlando Resort multiple times a year and Walt Disney World multiple times a year, I'm going to tell you, instead of paying almost $2,000 for the Inspire key here at Disneyland, when I can sit there and pay $1,700 with tax to own the top tier key, or I'm sorry, annual pass for the Walt Disney World Resort, and have access to 35 hotel resorts, have access to all the outdoor activities Walt Disney World has, have access to Boardwalk, have access to 4 theme parks, have access to 2 water parks. Sorry, I'm gonna go with the obvious. I don't know what everyone wants from me, but I'm not gonna praise Disney when they screw up and act like, oh yeah, our shit doesn't stink. Sorry, not gonna happen. You could look at me blue in the face until you pass out. Nothing in the right mind is gonna convince me that Disneyland is forgivable at this moment. Sorry, not gonna happen. That's my little rant. But it's true because they haven't moved at all. Just being honest. Mission Control says, did you guys talk about the big Thunder Tire yet? Sorry, had to leave for it. Yes, we did. A brand new ride track layout, complete ride track layout, and it's already having fires on day one. Not good. Not good.
Not a good look at all.
No. So, George, do you want to add anything to my rant that I didn't just physically, verbally just say right now?
No, honestly, I think you pretty much answered for the both of us on that one.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't mind Disney saying something. I don't mind that Universal doesn't say anything. But if you're gonna say something, you can't just say it and then ignore it, because that could be almost 10 years. You have to keep us updated. Not saying in an entitled way,
No.
like, oh, we demand to know this and that, like, no. But if you're going to mention it, then yeah, we're going to be intrigued as fans. We want to know. We want to know in the know-how that, as you mentioned, if you're going to have a convention biannually, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and more popular, the demand for it is going to get stronger. The prices are going to go higher. Then yeah, you got to give us more than just saying, okay, yeah, we're doing this. Okay, that's a wrap.
Early development. Oh, not to mention, destination, experience, and yeah, we're not going to call it a land. We're going to call it everything but a land.
Yeah. Hudson Thomas says they can build those restaurants in 6 months or less. Oh yeah, absolutely. Of what's taking so long for Downtown Disney, I don't know what extra yellow and red tape there is, but obviously there is. What do you think they end up doing in Lost Continent? Quick 5-second answer. I say honestly, either Pokemon or Zelda, and then whatever one is going here, that's where the other one's going in Epic.
Exactly. I'm going to mimic that answer. So that was a quarter of a second. How about that? Oh my gosh. Bobby Lakes 21 said the BTMRR update looked kind of lame, to be honest.
The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yes.
Here's the thing. It looks cool. I think for the amount of time, I think the expectation, because of how long the ride was down, that people were expecting visual and audio effects. And I think the reason why is they just wanted to do these subtle touch-ups visually. But the main reason why the ride was down was to just replace the entire track.
100%. And Remy D says, I bet they will have a lot to say about Infinity Defense since the building is about to be enclosed. No?
I think honestly at D23, we should actually get an opening date.
That would be nice.
I mean, we're 7 years in from when Chapek first made an announcement on that damn thing. And it went through how many transitions by the Kuka arm of us breaking off of the Quinjet, and we're going to have our individual mission with the Avengers. And then it went to everyone just being in the same vehicle, and we're going to fight King Thanos with his snowy white beard. And I'm still very curious about Infinity Defense, but after 7 years, I'm like, it is what it is, but we have to have an opening date by August. We have to.
Mission Control says, do you guys get media passes? Not
no, and based off of our rants, that's probably why.
Never happening, ever.
No, in all retrospect, Mission Control, we wouldn't mind media passes.
That would be awesome.
I just think that as long as these companies allow us to speak the truth and how we feel in the moment. Of course, with respect. Obviously when we talk stuff, it's just our passion and we get sarcastic and everything. But if something is crappy, we're going to call it out when it's crappy. We're not going to say, "Oh, this is really good," just for that notion. So if they allow us to do that and still get media passes, who knows? Maybe, you never know.
Exactly. Well, we have hit the 3-hour mark here on Conductor Sunday live stream with the one and the only Mr. Hollow Gelato. I want to thank everybody for joining tonight's live stream. Mission Control 77, which I don't think I've ever had him on a live stream. So thank you for joining. Hudson, I think this is like your third or fourth time being on a live stream in the chat. So thank you. Bobby Lakes 21, it was your first time, so thank you for joining. And everybody, thank you for joining. John, make it rain.
Was it Bobby Lake's first time? I thought he was on before.
He might have been. I don't remember off chance. He might have been though. I'm not sure. John, make it rain. Always great to see you in the chats. Hopefully your family member gets better. Again, my heart and prayers goes out to you and your family. Hopefully they get better very, very soon, because I can only imagine the pain and suffering you guys are going through. So hopefully that changes. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Mam Lazelle for the $4.99 super chat. It's always great to see her hanging out with me and Hollow Gelato, his wonderful wife Abby, and Tommy Toon World when he's down here. So that was a lot of fun. I just want to answer 2 more comments and then we're going to just exit out for tonight. Hudson said after tonight's conductors going to be blamed like Adam was.
After tonight, Conductor's going to be banned like Adam was. Oh gosh.
I hope not. Hudson said, I'm almost always here, just not commenting. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Hudson, for commenting. Again, everyone that watches these live streams, we encourage you to comment because we want to hear your guys' questions, your guys' concerns, because we want to address that. We're here for you guys. We're not here just to act like Chatty Cathy's on a live stream and just talks among ourselves. That's not what it's about. At least I could speak for myself. George, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we love the interaction when we do the lives. So anytime you guys have a question, a comment, an opinion, a concern, we welcome all to share it here. This is a safe space. All that we ask is just please keep it civil. But of course, there's always times that you just want to just sit back, kick your feet up, and watch us ramble. That's fine too.
Okay.
And Bobby Lakes, to your statement, maybe we get an update at Comic-Con. Even we may get something Avengers campus related, because I know they did that with Mission Breakout. I think that was at Comic-Con when they first made that announcement, and man, was people hitting the ceiling on that one. Do you from Park Explorer Adventure, do you think the Jurassic Park stuff from FanFest returns for Mega Movie Summer?
That could be.
I can actually see them doing that because they did it with Jaws. Yeah, I mean, could you see them just utilizing that space? Well, no, they can't because they need it for HHN.
Yep.
I mean, they may find a spot somewhere.
100%. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We got Mission Control said, do you do these every Sunday, Conductor? I do. Every Sunday. If it's not Hollow Gelato on, it's usually Orange Go 55 and other people as well. I've had Jared from Capture the Magic. We've had Bricky on. We've had other content creators. I'm drawing a blank here. Chaston's in LA. We've had him on. I've had Mondo on, JP Land on. So I've had other people on, and I know in the coming weeks, I've been talking to Hollow Gelato, especially because he just did a video not too long ago with Zach from Boardwalk Time. So we're definitely going to do either a video or a live stream. So definitely stay tuned. Turn on your notifications because I will make a community post when that does happen. Because I definitely want to get Zach on because he has some interesting pointers. And then also the couple you just had on your channel, George, about the cruise line. I would love to pick their brain about the Disney cruise once we get closer to going on that trip. I would love to have them on my channel and talk about that.
Oh, DCL Duo.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would. So if they're down for it, I would love to do so. Then we have Paul says, my name is Shirley. I hope you have a great night. We will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Same to you.
Hudson says, I want to hear their plans for downtown. It's a hodgepodge. Well, more like a hot mess, but
yeah. And to Mission Control, kind of commenting on Conductor doing his Sunday lives. Yeah, that's majority when he does his lives. However, there may be times where he may skip out depending on if he and I are on location. But majority of the time it is Sunday. And there are times where he may fluctuate where he's busy on Sunday, but he may do his live maybe 1 week on a Saturday or a Monday. But majority of the time it is for the Conductor Sunday lives. And when it comes time for my lives on Holo Gelato, I just fly by the wings. Whenever something comes up, you guys will get a notification. Boom, here comes the live. And I'm like, Conductor, you want to do a live with me? Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Okay.
I don't even hesitate. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Let me go get a drink. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Strap me in. Remy D says, have you guys talked about Spirit Airlines and how is it going to impact flights to Orlando? That's an interesting question. Not to dive too deep into it. I think we'll do another live stream pretty soon and kind of talk about that stuff. But my initial thoughts is I've never flown with Spirit Airlines. I've heard bad things about Spirit Airlines because it's very cheap with the fares and everything is a cost. Like, I mean, literally everything. So am I sad to see Spirit Airlines go? I'm more sad for the employees that work for Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, but the actual airline, I think Spirit and Frontier are the ones that do a lot of the penny pinching because they are so cheap. And I think that's why Spirit went down because of the lengthy amount of the shutdown. Again, not getting too political, but because of the shutdown, it's because it is a penny pinching airline. They just couldn't keep their heads above water. But yeah, 19,000 employees lost their jobs. That is the biggest.
That hurts.
Yeah, especially when you're not expecting it and it happens immediately. I do hope every single one of those 19,000 employees find work quickly. I do know that other airlines such as Southwest and American Airlines and Delta are actually complimenting guests who had bookings with Spirit, and they're trying to get them on flights like as easy as possible.
Sure.
But I, just like Conductor, have never flown Spirit for that reason, because it is kind of a penny pinching airline. To your question, how is it going to affect and impact Orlando? I think once people start getting the kinks out that they're not going to book with Spirit anymore, I think they'll probably pick Southwest or American or something, and it'll just, I don't think that'll hinder anything, to be honest.
No. And Remy D says, my trip to Orlando was on Spirit, flew last Sunday. It was actually a great experience. You're one of the very few I've heard say that. Most of the time when I heard anything
Yeah,
about Spirit, it was negative. So
and Remy D, you're actually one of the last people to
yeah,
rely on Spirit and never even know that was going to shut down. That is crazy.
that is crazy. I'm going to answer 2 more comments and then we're going to end tonight because I got to be at work at 3 in the morning. That's going to be
Good gravy, dude. I'm telling you, folks, I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
I do it. I'm crazy like that. John Make It Rain says, Universal planning on doing some sort of expo. Do they have enough material? So
I don't think they'll ever do it.
So they actually had something, not as big as D23, but they did have something, and it was actually at Hollywood back in the day before COVID. They did have a mini expo that was held like in a 1, if not 2 sound stages on the lower lot, but they haven't done it since. I'm glad they didn't continue.
And I think as of right now, the only thing that Universal would maybe be a part of now is the IAAPA convention, where they like showcase like certain like ride vehicles or ride systems that they want to do. But
yeah. And John Make It Rain says to do a D23, and does Universal sell pins like Disney? They do sell pins, but they're not like Disney. Disney's a whole nother animal when it comes to pins.
Yeah, it's like a whole nother community when it comes to the pins and the pin trading.
100%. John Make It Rain also says, I'm sure most of them have all applied for other airlines. I would hope so. So hopefully that's the case. He also said they want to get them on their point system 100% ASAP. No, 100% agree. But I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. Remy D, John Make It Rain, Paul, Mission Control, Hudson. We had, who else? We had Peter that joined for a hot minute. We had Park Explorer. Who else? We had Mount Lizelle, Amusement Park Pirates. Let's see. Who else did we have?
We had Shirley or Paul Klein. I think that was
Spring Blossom Fairy. We had her.
You said Bobby Lakes, Abby being
our
moderator to my gelato.
Absolutely. We had D Escobar 17, Rick Wallace. We had
you said Spring Blossom Fairy.
Yes, I did.
NG 2343
and David
Mez Hermoso, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Yep. D Escobar, which actually we didn't even get to answer their question. I'm so sorry. As do you like the Fast and Furious ride? If you're referring to Supercharged, absolutely not. If it's the Hollywood Drift, we don't know yet because it's not open yet, but we are very excited for it.
100%. Me and George are sitting front row. Dom's Charger. 100%. It's happening. But I want to thank everybody in the chat and our amazing guests for this week on Conductor Sunday live stream. The one, the only Mr. Hollow Gelato. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Absolutely. And Conductor, thank you so much for having me on yet again, another Conductor Sunday live stream. I'm always glad to be a part of it because, as you can see, it's over 3 hours, and that's just how we do it. And if anyone wants to follow me, you could do so on YouTube on Hollow Gelato, where Abby and I cover all things theme parks from Disneyland, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm. We even dive into the cruise line. We do a lot of in-park vlogs. We do in-studio vlog. We even do events outside of the theme parks. We do life vlogs, everything. So definitely check us out. And also find us on Instagram on Hollow Gelato as well.
100%. And I can concur with that because Hollow Gelato, him and his wonderful wife, Abigail, do a lot of amazing content in the parks, at a theater review, which we just went to go see The Devil Wears Prada 2, one of my most favorite movies of the year of 2026, possibly even 2025. So I'm super happy that I got to see Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, and all the other original characters back on screen once again 20 years after the fact. That was a lot of fun. And then just the mere fact, we did some Disney vlogs together, and actually Hollow Gelato was actually at a Make Your Wish Foundation event at the local oh my
Dave,
god, Dave and Buster's. I think you still have that post on your community tab where people can donate if you want to let everybody know about that.
so for that, I'm not sure if they're still doing that. I think maybe it is still open. But yeah, definitely check out the tab for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. If it is still open through there, you could definitely make a donation. Also, I am part of the Chalk Walk, the annual Chalk Walk that's going on at Disneyland. We will be walking on August 2nd. There is going to be, Abby, if you're still watching, I'm not sure if you could please put the link in for anyone that can please help donate to the cause for cancer research, especially when it comes to young children. We definitely appreciate it. All the donation and proceeds goes towards that cause of finding the cure. So definitely check that out. It's also, I believe the link is in on the Hollow Gelato YouTube webpage as well. So you could find it there as well. It'll bring the link right up, and you could do any donation would definitely help. I already surpassed the goal that I was trying to do, and that was to just get enough so I'm able to do the walk at Disneyland. But as I said, this isn't about me. This is about the young kids that deserve a chance to live a proper life from this horrible, terrible, terminally illness that we call cancer. And so, yeah, any little bit would be appreciative.
100%. So definitely go check out Hollow Gelato. Again, not just for his content, but his charity work as well with fellow content creators as well from park streamers. So definitely go check that out. And also another person you guys should check out is our dear friend, the one, the only, I call him the young Steven Spielberg when it comes to his food reviews, Tommy Toon World on YouTube, on Instagram, on all platforms. Please do so. He does a lot of amazing work, and I encourage you guys to go check him out, show him some love. But I'm Theme Park Conductor. This is Hollow Gelato, and you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky at Theme Park Conductor, on X at Theme Conductor, TikTok at Theme Park Conductor 1, and every Sunday at 5 or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Conductor Sunday live stream, where we have amazing guests like the one, the only Mr. Hollow Gelato with his spicy Italian theme park opinions. And that hair wave right there. And his little man chest hair that's popping out of his, geez Louise, here we go. Out of his shirt. But I want to thank everybody, and I will see you guys next Sunday on Conductor Sunday live stream. Peace out, everybody.